the school beauty's personal bodyguard. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276, Dangerous Situation? Hey, you must be hungry, Lin Yi smiled. Who could afford shark fin? With all the delicacies from land and sea every day, who could possibly eat meat? And Chen Yushu only found it delicious because she was so hungry. Otherwise, shark meat wouldn't be as fresh and tender as the common fish like carp and crucian carp on the table. Many fishermen, after catching sharks, simply cut off the fins and throw the sharks back into the sea. While this practice is a bit cruel, it also proves that shark meat is not tasty and is unpopular. Many of the cheapest fish balls on the market are made from shark meat, also because of its low cost. However, Lin Yi was in no mood to eat shark fin. It would be more economical to eat some meat right now. Chen Yushu had a small appetite, and while she found the shark meat delicious, she couldn't eat any more after just 2 pieces. She sat aside, clutching her stomach. I'm so full, but it's so delicious. Brother Wrigley, let's take the remaining shark meat home so Sister Yao can have some too. Despite finding something delicious, Chen Yushu didn't forget Chu Mengyao. It was clear they had a close relationship. Despite their frequent bickering, their sisterly bond was genuine. We'll have to contact Uncle Fu first. Lin Yi removed the battery from his phone and placed it on the beach to dry. While the moisture on the motherboard evaporated and rust hadn't yet corroded it, the phone might still work for a short while. Once the motherboard was completely corroded, it would be completely ruined. This was something Lin Yi had heard from a friend, and he decided to put it to the test. Someone had an accident at the amusement park's bungee jumping valley. It wasn't the criminal investigation department's responsibility, and it wasn't a serious case. However, since Chen Yushu was involved, even the director had issued an order, forcing Song Lingshan to personally lead a team to the amusement park to investigate the incident. While searching for witnesses, they called the Coast Guard for support and conducted a search in the nearby waters. Honestly, with ropes bound around the legs and waist, even a capable swimmer would have little hope of survival if they fell. How could they possibly swim when their entire body was bound? When Song Lingshan heard that Lin Yi was among them, she was startled. That man was there too? Although Song Lingshan didn't have a favorable impression of Lin Yi, he had helped her twice, once by apprehending a bank robber and once by capturing Black Panther. Both times, these were substantial accomplishments, and since Lin Yi didn't want them, the credit naturally fell to Song Lingshan, leaving her with an inexplicable, strange feeling towards him. It wasn't exactly gratitude, but Song Lingshan definitely didn't want anything to happen to Lin Yi. Captain Song. The Coast Guard has replied that no one who fell into the water has been found within a kilometer radius. Should we expand the search range, or? The speaker was Liu Wengli, the captain of the Criminal Police Squadron 1. Song Lingshan brought their squadron here today. Let me ask for instructions, Song Lingshan sighed. If 2 people have not been found within a kilometer, then they have either been washed away to a farther place or sunk to the bottom of the sea. Increasing the search range is probably of no help. If you keep searching, most of the efforts you make will be in vain. Director Chen's phone is busy. It seems that he is under a lot of pressure in this matter. The person who fell into the water is Chen Yushu. If the Chen family's precious granddaughter dies like this, the consequences can be imagined. Song Lingshan called Yang Huaijin again. Yang Huaijin has been officially promoted to Executive Deputy Director, in charge of the Criminal Investigation Team and the Economic Investigation Team. Apart from Director Chen, Yang Huaijin is Song Lingshan's direct superior. Xiao Song, what's wrong? Is there something going on? I'm in a meeting in the province, Yang Huaijin asked after receiving a call from Song Lingshan. Huh? Director Yang, you're not at the police station. Song Lingshan was also taken aback. She didn't expect Yang Huaijin to be away today. You don't know about the amusement park incident yet. What happened at the amusement park? Yang Huaijin really didn't know what happened there. During the meeting, Yang Huaijin's phone was turned off. Now, during a break, Yang Huaijin turned on his phone to check for any urgent text messages from his subordinates. Shortly after turning it on, he received a call from Song Lingshan. Chen Yushu and your friend Lin Yi were bungee jumping when the rope suddenly broke, and they fell into the sea together, Song Lingshan reported. We have contacted the Coast Guard to help search 1 kilometer of the sea. but they didn't find the two people. The Coast Guard asked me whether to expand the search range but I personally think that two people were tied together by the bungee rope and fell into the sea. Even if they can swim, I'm afraid they will be in danger. In danger. Yang Huaijin repeated these 4 words strangely. He felt funny and didn't know what to say. When Yang Huaijin heard Chen Yushu's name before, he was subconsciously shocked. If something happened to Chen Yushin's sister, it would definitely not be a trivial matter. But then he heard that Chen Yushu fell into the sea with Lin Yi, and his heart was relieved. In this case, he would not die, let alone Lin Yi. With Lin Yi there, Chen Yushu would definitely be safe, and Song Lingshan was really thinking too much? Yes, they haven't been found within a kilometer. Either they were washed away by the sea or they have sunk to the bottom of the sea, Song Lingshan said. In either case, there is no hope of survival. Xiao Song, you can ask the Coast Guard to withdraw, Yang Huaijin said. Oh? Director Yang, are you saying that we should give up the search? Although Song Lingshan also thought so in her heart, the matter involved Chen Yushu, and Song Lingshan was really a little troubled. Although she didn't have a good impression of Chen Yushu's brother Chen Yushin, work and life are two completely different things. Give up? Who said to give up? Yang Huaijin laughed. But Director Yang, didn't you say that the Coast Guard should withdraw? Song Lingshan was stunned. Telling the Coast Guard to withdraw doesn't mean we've given up the search, Yang Huaijin said. I didn't tell you to withdraw, but we. Song Lingshan was confused by Yang Huaijin's meaning. If the Coast Guard can't find them, how can we search? Who told you to search the sea? Have your men search for speedboats and the coastline nearby. Maybe they'll find them. Yang Huaijin pointed out a convenient route. Coastline? Director Yang, do you mean looking for the bodies that floated ashore? Song Lingshan absolutely didn't think the two would survive under these circumstances. Chapter 277, Really Not Dead. You'll find out if you look for it, Yang Huaijin smiled. Okay, Xiao Song, I have a meeting now. I'm turning off my phone. I'll call you later. Oh, okay, Song Lingshan said, a little confused. But since Yang Huaijin had said so, she was prepared to follow his instructions. He ordered the Coast Guard to withdraw, and he and Liu Wangli's men borrowed a speedboat and began searching along the coastline. Captain Song, we're looking for a body here, so it shouldn't float up so quickly, Liu Wangli said, puzzled. Director Yang told us to just keep our eyes open. Song Lingshan didn't elaborate, as she herself didn't quite understand Yang Huaijin's advice. However, the person Song Lingshan admired most in the police department was Yang Huaijin, and she would follow his instructions to the letter. When Liu Wangli heard that it was the former captain, now Deputy Director Yang, who had given the order, he immediately shut up. Like Song Lingshan, he was completely impressed by Yang Huaijin. If Yang Huaijin told them to do this, he must have a reason. Chen Yushu was sitting on the beach playing with sand out of boredom. She built a bunker with sand and then dug a trap. She was having a lot of fun. Lin Yi looked at the childish Chen Yushu and smiled. Only Chen Yushu would be in the mood to play with sand at this time. Looking at the mobile phone on the beach, Lin Yi picked it up, installed the battery, and pressed the power button. Sure enough, the phone turned on. It seems that what the friend said is true. Lin Yi directly dialed Yang Huaijin's number, but unfortunately, the phone prompt was turned off. After a slight hesitation, Lin Yi dialed Song Lingshan's number. The phone rang, and Song Lingshan took out her phone. She thought it was Director Chen calling, but when she saw the name on the caller ID on the phone, she couldn't help but widen her eyes. Is there something fishy? The caller ID on the phone actually showed Lin Yi's name. Didn't he drown? Liu Wangli was a bit surprised, wondering why Song Lingshan was staring blankly at her phone instead of answering. Captain Song, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. Song Lingshan snapped back to her senses and quickly answered the call. She was a police officer and didn't believe in ghosts or anything like that. Hello? Is that Lin Yi? Lin Yi waited impatiently for Song Lingshan for a long time, secretly cursing what this tigress was doing. He wondered how long his phone would last. Song Lingshan, get someone to locate my phone signal right now, and then notify Uncle Fu to pick me up. I won't say any more. We'll talk when we get back, Lin Yi said, then hung up. Unaware that Song Lingshan was also searching for him, he assumed she would ask questions. But now, he was a bit afraid to use his phone. Who knew if it would shut down if he talked too much? Lin Yi's phone had GPS tracking software, but he couldn't guarantee it wouldn't freeze if he activated it. A phone that's been submerged in water, who knows what it might do next? Not dead. Song Lingshan stared at her phone in astonishment, somewhat incredulous. However, Lin Yi had indeed called and asked her to check his location. Song Lingshan was now certain that Lin Yi had escaped danger, but she just didn't know where. What do you mean not dead? Liu Wangli was puzzled. What did Captain Song say? Liu Wangli, call the technical department and have them immediately investigate the location of 152XXXX1234 and report back to me. Song Lingshan said to Liu Wangli. Yes, although Liu Wangli didn't get a reply from Song Lingshan, it was all irrelevant. Since Song Lingshan had given an order, he naturally didn't dare to neglect it and immediately carried it out. Soon, the coordinates of Lin Yi's phone signal were fed back to Song Lingshan. Song Lingshan entered the coordinates into the motorboat's GPS and discovered, somewhat unexpectedly but somewhat predictably, that Lin Yi's coordinates were exactly 2 kilometers behind her on the coastline. Lin Yi was indeed on the coastline, and Yang Huaijin had really predicted it. Song Lingshan finally understood what Yang Huaijin meant. Yang Huaijin had long since confirmed that Lin Yi wouldn't die and would definitely swim to shore. Song Lingshan frowned slightly. It seemed that this Lin Yi boy was indeed quite capable. Although Song Lingshan was a little dissatisfied, she had to admit it. Lin Yi seemed to be just a little bit better than her. Of course, when it came to skills, Song Lingshan was not one to concede defeat. After getting Lin Yi's coordinates, Song Lingshan eagerly called him back to check on Chen Yushu. However, after 2 rings, Lin Yi's phone inexplicably hung up. When Song Lingshan called again, the phone was turned off. Song Lingshan felt a mixture of frustration and annoyance. He wasn't answering the phone? However, she also knew that perhaps Lin Yi's phone was out of battery, otherwise, he wouldn't have called so hastily, simply giving a few unclear instructions before hanging up. He was out of danger now, so he should have time to talk on the phone. Song Lingshan's guess was almost right, but the phone wasn't out of battery, it was completely broken. Lin Yi was about to answer the call when it froze. He couldn't turn it off, so he pulled out the battery, but when he put it back in, it wouldn't turn on. He wondered if Song Lingshan, that tigress, had even checked his location. Lin Yi smiled wryly and shook his head, hoping she had a bit of sense. The reason Lin Yi didn't call Uncle Fu, instead choosing Yang Huaijin and Song Lingshan, was because he was worried his phone wouldn't last long. If he called Uncle Fu, he'd have to contact the police before they could get a signal. After all that, Lin Yi wasn't sure his phone would last that long, so calling Song Lingshan directly was the simpler option. When Lin Yi saw a motorboat approaching from a distance, he knew Song Lingshan wasn't that timid after all. Zia Oshu, someone's here to pick us up. We can go home now, Lin Yi called to Chen Yushu, who was playing in the sand. In reality, Lin Yi wasn't worried at all. Even if his phone was broken, it would only delay its discovery. When Yang Huaijin realized he and Chen Yushu had fallen into the sea together, he would have been able to tell he wasn't dead. Oh, Brother Arrow, I finally built a castle out of sand? Chen Yushu was a little reluctant. Oh, I'll take a picture of it with someone else's phone and keep it for you as a souvenir, Lin Yi said with a smile. Okay, Chen Yushu stood up and brushed the sand off her clothes. The weather was hot, and the clothes soaked in the seawater had long since dried, but they still felt sticky and uncomfortable. Chapter 278 Brother Arrow is very powerful. Song Lingshan had wanted to offer a few words of comfort. She had a difficult relationship with Chen Yushu's brother, but that was a personal matter, not something to be confused with work. Chen Yushu was, after all, a victim, and after being rescued by the police, a few words of comfort were understandable. But Song Lingshan swallowed the words back when she saw the castle on the beach. She was having so much fun, so she figured she didn't need any comfort. But Chen Yushu's next words left her speechless. Sister Lingshan, you're here so quickly. My castle isn't even finished yet. Chen Yushu looked at her masterpiece reluctantly, and reluctantly approached. Song Lingshan wanted to curse, but held it back. Seeing Chen Yushu's rolling eyes, she knew she was absolutely doing it on purpose. This girl had always disliked her. Wasn't it just because she had rejected her brother's advances? Just because she didn't like him, couldn't she refuse? Song Lingshan felt a headache. Little girls were unpredictable. She didn't have to look for her brother to be her boyfriend, did she? Besides, it is a fact that he cannot beat me, so why should I look for a man who is weaker than me? If something happens in the future, will I protect him or will he protect me? Give me your phone. Song Lingshan was annoyed when she heard Lin Yi asking her for his phone. Huh? What for? Song Lingshan was stunned, but still handed the phone to Lin Yi, because she had turned off Lin Yi's phone before, and subconsciously thought that Lin Yi's phone was out of battery, and she was borrowing the phone to make a call. But after Lin Yi took the phone, he did not make a call, but activated the camera function and took pictures of the sand castle built by Chen Yushu, shooting left and right, without missing any angle. Wow, Brother Arrow, you're so kind. This is a souvenir? Chen Yushu excitedly ran over to the castle she'd built. Brother Arrow, take a picture for us. You? What are you taking pictures of? Song Lingshan was surprised that Lin Yi would use her phone to do this, and she immediately flew into a rage. Lin Yi, do you have nothing better to do? When you get back, send the pictures to me via MMS or directly to my email. Lin Yi didn't answer Song Lingshan's question and handed the phone back. I don't have time. Song Lingshan was furious. Using her phone to take pictures of Chen Yushu was one thing, but taking pictures of a whole castle? If she agreed to send the pictures, what would she be? Song Lingshan had always projected a strong image within the compound, acting like a proud princess no matter who she met. Chen Yushu and she had always been at odds over Chen Yushan's affairs, so how could Song Lingshan send her pictures? If she did, where would her identity be? No time, huh? Okay, next time you look for me, consider my availability. Lin Yi shrugged nonchalantly, turning away. Song Lingshan gritted her teeth, stamped her feet hard on the beach, and angrily blurted out two words, I'll send it. How? Lin Yi smiled, knowing this tiger girl would give in. Chen Yushu, however, stared at Lin Yi and Song Lingshan with wide eyes, looking at them in disbelief. Previously, Chen Yushu had asked Lin Yi to take a photo of her and the sand castle just despite Song Lingshan. In her opinion, with Song Lingshan's temper, she would never send the photo to her. Even if she pressed the issue, Song Lingshan would simply say she accidentally deleted it out of embarrassment. So, when Lin Yi asked Song Lingshan to post the photos, she said, I don't have time. This was exactly what Chen Yushu expected, and she didn't think anything of it. Lin Yi had already been so impressive that he'd used Song Lingshan's phone to take a picture of himself and the sand castle, which had already made Chen Yushu feel proud. Who among the men around Song Lingshan would dare to use her phone for such a frivolous thing? Not even her own eldest brother, Chen Yushan, once a prominent figure in the compound and even in Songshan City, would dare to do such a thing. So, in a sense, Arrow Brother was quite impressive. He had used Song Lingshan's phone to take some silly photos, and instead of beating her up, she had simply said, I don't have time, which was a great gesture towards Lin Yi. Just as Chen Yushu was about to praise Arrow Brother's impressiveness, something unexpected happened. Song Lingshan actually agreed to post the photos, simply because of Arrow Brother's words. Brother Arrow, you're amazing. Chen Yushu wanted to hug Lin Yi and kiss him. The resentment that had been suppressed for years was finally released. Originally, I thought that no man could control Song Lingshan, but it turned out that Brother Arrow easily dealt with her. It was previously rumored that Song Lingshan did the thing to Lin Yi in the hospital. Could it be true? Yet, it seems very likely now, otherwise why would Song Lingshan be so obedient? Hey, brother, it seems that you can only give up. But it seems that you can't handle her, so you might as well give her to Brother Arrow. Yet, if Uncle Chu is really recruiting a son-in-law, then Sister Yao will be Brother Arrow's eldest wife, and I will be Brother Arrow's concubine, and Song Lingshan can only be a maid. Song Lingshan was so angry that her stomach bulged and she almost turned into a big frog. Of course, she knew what Chen Yushu was happy about, but she had no way to do anything. Song Lingshan didn't dare to offend Lin Yi too much. She couldn't guarantee that she wouldn't ask him for help next time she had any problems. After thinking about it, she could only endure it. Hey, who knew? Come and help move the shark, Lin Yi casually ordered Song Lingshan. Tiger girl, Song Lingshan thought her ears were broken. How could someone dare to call her a tiger girl? Huh? Chen Yushu was also stunned. The name Brother Arrow was too fierce. Liu Wangli stood aside, wanting to laugh but not daring to. However, he gave Lin Yi a thumbs up in his heart. He didn't know what the relationship between Lin Yi and Captain Song was. Not only did he use Captain Song's phone to take pictures of a bunch of inexplicable sand castles, but he also dared to call Captain Song Tiger Girl. Lin Yi, what did you call me? Song Lingshan grabbed Lin Yi, unable to contain her anger any longer. She just wanted to teach him a lesson. This guy was too much. Relying on his little skills, he really thought that she couldn't solve the case without him? After all, she was the fighting champion of the police station. How could she let Lin Yi bully her? Captain Song, please don't be impulsive. Liu Wangli was shocked to see Song Lingshan about to hit Lin Yi. He knew Song Lingshan's skills very well. Not to mention ordinary people, even the rigorously trained police officers in Songshan police station rarely matched her. This was also why his men truly admired Song Lingshan. A woman is as capable as a man. As a captain, how could your subordinates obey you if you didn't have some means to convince others? Chapter 279 Lingshan, stop it. So, seeing Song Lingshan about to attack Lin Yi, Liu Wangli was a little frightened. Lin Yi and Chen Yashu were the ones who had fallen into the water, and instead of comforting them, he was actually attacking them. If his superiors found out, wouldn't he be in big trouble? Song Lingshan was truly furious. In her entire life, no one had ever called her a tiger girl, and now Lin Yi had called her a tiger several times, and now even had the nickname Tiger Girl pop up. How could Song Lingshan not be furious? Without caring about the consequences, she punched Lin Yi in the back. If it were any other person, that punch would have been enough to knock the wind out of them. Lin Yi smiled and didn't dodge. Girls, after all, have their own little tempers. Lin Yi, adhering to the principle of a man not fighting a woman, gave in. After all, Lin Yi had indeed called her a nasty nickname. Actually, Lin Yi had only been thinking about it in his mind before blurting it out. Bang! Song Lingshan punched Lin Yi in the back. Liu Wangli closed his eyes, fearing the man was in grave danger. But then, something unbelievable happened again. Lin Yi smiled and turned around. Alright, Lingshan, stop messing around. Hurry and help me move the shark, Lingshan. Lin Yi called her Lingshan? Song Lingshan was stunned. Such a familiar name coming from a man would have made the old Song Lingshan furious, but now she didn't know what to do. Song Lingshan knew the force of her previous punch. It had concentrated all her resentment into that fist. Afterward, she felt a little regretful. Even if Lin Yi was a yellow rank master, a punch from her would have been enough to hurt him. However, Song Lingshan's punch felt like hitting cotton, soft and insensitive. Lin Yi, on the other hand, seemed to have felt no force at all, even saying to herself, stop messing around. However, Song Lingshan knew that the punch was real, but she didn't know how Lin Yi had neutralized it. Song Lingshan was very frightened. What was the origin of this man? She had punched him, and he didn't seem to feel it at all? Song Lingshan was surprised, and Liu Wangli and Chen Yashu were even more surprised. Song Lingshan's punch on Lin Yi, they naturally couldn't tell whether Song Lingshan had used any force, but from Lin Yi's relaxed expression and tone, Song Lingshan's punch was just a flirtation between lovers, a punch thrown by a woman when she was being coquettish. Lin Yi's words just confirmed this. He said, okay, Lingshan, stop it, flirting? That means Song Lingshan's punch was really just a joke. Liu Wangli didn't have the eyesight to tell whether Song Lingshan had used all her strength, and Chen Yashu was even more confused. Could this man be Song Lingshan's legendary boyfriend? That's right, Liu Wangli suddenly remembered. Wasn't the man Song Lingshan had been rumored to be having an affair with in the hospital named Lin Yi? Liu Wangli couldn't help but admire Lin Yi again, and said in his heart, I admire you. Song Lingshan may be the most beautiful girl in the police force, but she is also a violent Tyrannosaurus Rex. How many men can handle a woman like that? What if they get seriously injured during an argument? Lin Yi was actually joking with Song Lingshan with a bad attitude and didn't think too much about it. But seeing the expressions of Liu Wangli and Chen Yashu, he knew that they were really overthinking it. Watching Lin Yi carry Shark onto the speedboat, Song Lingshan was reluctant but didn't say anything. After suffering a few losses at the hands of Lin Yi, Song Lingshan learned her lesson. If I can't afford to fend, can I not hide? That punch also forced Song Lingshan to take Lin Yi seriously. It seemed that his capture of Black Panther was no accident. Brother Arrow, are you and Song Lingshan really together? Chen Yashu followed Lin Yi onto the speedboat and asked in a low voice like a curious baby. No, Lin Yi hadn't lied to Chen Yashu. There was no point in such a thing. Brother Arrow, is this true? You really have nothing to do with her. Chen Yashu was a little disappointed. Over time, she had gotten to know Lin Yi. He was the kind of man who acted boldly and without hesitation. If he and Song Lingshan really had that kind of relationship, he wouldn't deny it. Just like when he pulled Tang Yun to the school playground, slapped Zhu Ruiming, and declared that Tang Yun was his woman. Really not, Lin Yi said. Why, what else do you hope we have? Hey, there are some things you don't know. My brother has been pursuing her for several years, but she is so arrogant and ignores my brother. She also humiliates my brother by saying that he can't even beat her and is not like a man. Chen Yushu got a little angry when she said this. I thought, Brother Arrow, you had dealt with the slut and let her know what it means to be powerful. Lin Yi widened his eyes and looked at Chen Yushu speechlessly. Why did she become a slut? She was in the hospital with you. Even though Chen Yushu usually spoke very powerfully, she couldn't help feeling embarrassed when talking about this. In fact, it's not what you think. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I had an injury on my leg that day, and she just wanted to punish me, so she pressed my wound. So that's the case. Chen Yushu nodded in understanding, thinking to himself, it seems that he had misunderstood Song Lingshan, and thought that this woman was mature and started to get horny, but it is a fact that she is afraid of Brother Arrow. Well, although she is not Arrow Brother's woman, Arrow Brother also has the potential to conquer her. Not bad, it can be considered as a relief, Chen Yushu comforted herself. Lin Yi and Chen Yushu were whispering in the back, and Song Lingshan heard it clearly. Fortunately, Liu Wangli was driving a boat, and she was the only one close to the two of them. Otherwise, if others heard it, it would be so embarrassing. Hearing Chen Yushu actually say that she was a slutty fox, Song Lingshan really wanted to strangle this girl to death. How did she become a slutty fox? She has never had any scandals, okay? That's not right. Isn't Chen Yushu's next sentence her own scandal? What happened between her and Lin Yi in the hospital has spread all over the police station, causing her colleagues to look at her strangely in those days. Song Lingshan of course knew what they were thinking. They must think that it is a fantasy that a violent woman like her would do the kind of thing for a man. She was about to turn around and explain to Lin Yi to prevent him from damaging her reputation, but Lin Yi honestly explained their relationship to Chen Yushu, which surprised Song Lingshan. This guy was actually quite upright and didn't take the opportunity to slander her. Song Lingshan didn't know what to say about Chen Yushu's childish thoughts. She had rejected her brother, and this was how she wanted to get back at her? Song Lingshan shook her head. She had to admit that Lin Yi was indeed very strong, but in a fair one-on-one competition, Song Lingshan was confident that she wouldn't lose to him. Chapter 280 We Are Friends. Although Chu Mengyao wasn't as worried as before after hearing Uncle Fu's explanation and her father's reassurance, it was impossible to say she wasn't nervous at all. Ever since returning home, Chu Mengyao had been feeling restless. After all, she was her childhood best friend, a real friend. How could she not be worried? And then there was Lin Yi. She didn't know if he was in danger. Although he was a bit annoying, Chu Mengyao still didn't want anything to happen to him. She couldn't explain why. Perhaps Lin Yi was her employee, and she didn't want anything to happen to him. However, Chu Mengyao's worries didn't last long. Lin Yi and Chen Yushu returned safely, driven back by Liu Wangli. Upon returning to the police station, Song Lingshan assigned Liu Wangli the task of escorting Lin Yi and Chen Yushu, avoiding him at all costs. If you can't afford to offend him, you can afford to avoid him. Asking a distinguished criminal police captain to drive shark for Lin Yi? Song Lingshan wasn't about to do that. Liu Wangli, however, didn't mind. He borrowed a van from the traffic police and drove Lin Yi and Chen Yushu back to the villa area, carrying shark. To be honest, Liu Wangli still admires Lin Yi quite a bit. To be able to chase Song Lingshan, the female Tyrannosaurus in the police force, this is not an ordinary person. Xiao Shu, are you okay? That's great. Chu Mengyao was very excited to see Chen Yushu return safely. She opened her arms and hugged Chen Yushu. Sister Yao, I'm fine. I'm doing well. Chen Yushu did not have the same feeling as Chu Mengyao. Chu Mengyao was frightened, while Chen Yushu, in addition to having a big meal of shark meat, also played with the sands for a while and spent a happy Saturday. Lin Yi carried the shark and shook his head at the two girls hugging each other. Is it really like this? If she was so excited after falling into the sea, she and Yang Huaijin would have had to hug each other every day. Chu Mengyao hugged Chen Yushu, and then looked at Lin Yi beside her. Although she was a little worried, she didn't show anything on her face. She was about to say a few words of comfort, but suddenly saw the shark on Lin Yi's shoulder, and immediately exclaimed, Lin Yi, what are you carrying? Oh, yes, Sister Yao. This is the shark that Brother Wrigley killed. He grilled the shark meat for me to eat. It's delicious. I asked him to bring back the rest and grill it for you, Chen Yushu explained quickly. After hearing what Chen Yushu said, Chu Mengyao was very moved. After all, they grew up together and had a deep sisterly love. Even when they were in trouble, she didn't forget herself when she had something delicious. She reached out and hugged Chen Yushu again. Zia Oshu, thank you. Hey, it's me who carried the shark, Lin Yi said with a wry smile standing aside. Well, thank you, Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao nodded sheepishly. But of course, she couldn't hug him. Suddenly, a thought struck her, and she was startled. Shark? Zia Oshu, you said Lin Yi was carrying a shark. Oh, really? Chen Yushu nodded. A giant shark. It's so delicious. What? Shark? Chu Mengyao's eyes widened. Lin Yi, you killed a shark, huh? Lin Yi chuckled. If I didn't kill it, it would have eaten Zia Oshu and me. Chu Mengyao didn't know what to say. This man before her was full of mystery. Was that why he'd killed a shark? So many people had been eaten by sharks, why didn't they just kill them? Although Lin Yi said it lightly, Chu Mengyao could imagine how thrilling the situation must have been. In fact, Chu Mengyao had been wrong this time. Lin Yi had indeed taken down the shark with ease. Thank you for protecting Zia Oshu. Since Lin Yi had said that, Chu Mengyao didn't say anything more and nodded. She's my friend, no need to thank me. Lin Yi shook his head. Chu Mengyao felt a sudden sense of emptiness at Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi was probably protecting her because she was his employer. It was because of this relationship that Chu Mengyao wanted to thank Lin Yi for protecting Chen Yushu, since Lin Yi's job was to protect her, not Chen Yushu. However, Lin Yi's simple words made it clear that he wasn't protecting Chen Yushu because of this relationship, but because they were friends. He and Chen Yushu were both friends, and she and I were friends. Chu Mengyao felt a little disappointed. What about me? Oh, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have saved Xuanyuan today. I hate the sight of that guy. Lin Yi smiled, surprised by Chu Mengyao's thoughtfulness. Chu Mengyao then remembered that when she had asked Lin Yi for help today, he had indeed been reluctant. But she had said it was a personal request, and Lin Yi had helped. Well, a personal request naturally meant friendship. Unconsciously, Chu Mengyao began to care for the man she had once so disliked. Inside the villa, Chu Mengyao held Chen Yushu's hand and sat on the sofa, chatting. She had intended to comfort Chen Yushu, believing she must be terrified after falling into the sea. But she miscalculated. Far from being frightened, Chen Yushu enthusiastically described how she built sand castles on the beach, how she made fire by drilling wood, and how she grilled shark. It was like a wild vacation, and Chu Mengyao was envious. She even wondered why she hadn't fallen into the sea herself. If she had known Lin Yi was so capable, why would she be afraid? She could just jump with him and enjoy the delicious food and drinks. Hey, Sister Yao, I have some bad news for you. Chen Yushu suddenly remembered Songshan. Bad news? What bad news? Chu Mengyao was lost in the beautiful scene Chen Yushu had described. On the beach, bathed in sunlight, she casually played with the sand, while the aroma of grilled shark wafted from the nearby fire. What a cozy picnic. Songshan is not Brother Arrow's woman. Brother Arrow has nothing to do with her. Chen Yushu was a little disappointed. Originally, I wanted to make her a concubine and step on her, but she is not. She is not Lin Yi's woman? If she is not, then she is not. But what does this have to do with a concubine? Chu Mengyao thought, isn't it better? How can this be bad news? The most annoying thing is that he is having affairs outside. Oh, Sister Yao, think about it. Uncle Chu wants to recruit Brother Arrow as his son-in-law, right? Chen Yushu explained to Chu Mengyao. Then you are Brother Arrow's first wife, and as for me, because we have already agreed, I am Brother Arrow's concubine. If Songshan wants to be with Brother Arrow, she can only be a concubine. She is not even as good as my concubine. Can't he be step on at will? Chapter 281 The Secret in the Fish's Belly. Oh my god, Chu Mengyao looked at Chen Yushu strangely. If you like Arrow brother, then you like him. Why do you always involve me? Chu Mengyao finally understood what this maid was all about. But why did her best friend always talk about her? No, Sister Yao, didn't we agree before that whoever you marry, I will marry that person, and we two sisters will never be separated? Chen Yushu said seriously. Oh, then if I don't marry Lin Yi, I will marry Zhong Pinliang. Will you marry me too? Chu Mengyao glanced at Chen Yushu and thought to herself, this damn best friend, don't I know you? We grew up together, eat and live together every day, who doesn't know each other? Chen Yushu's expression froze. She didn't expect Chu Mengyao to ask this. Her face turned red and she didn't know how to answer. Why aren't you talking? Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu fiercely. Do you not want to separate from me, or do you want to marry Lin Yi, sister Yao? Chen Yushu shook Chu Mengyao's arm and started to act coquettishly. Of course I don't want to separate from you, Chu Mengyao snorted twice and looked at Chen Yushu. Chen Yushu felt a little guilty and said with a red face, okay. If you get married, you should marry someone you like. That Zhong Pinliang is so annoying, tell me the truth, right? So you like Lin Yi? Chu Mengyao asked. No, I just think he's okay, not annoying, Chen Yushu explained. Little liar, Chu Mengyao tapped Chen Yushu's forehead. Don't worry, I won't marry him. If you want to marry him yourself. Oh, Chen Yushu didn't care, because she felt that sister Yao always said one thing and meant another. Lin Yi was cleaning shark in the kitchen. In fact, shark meat was not delicious. I think Chu Mengyao would think it was just so after tasting it tonight. But now that she had it back, Chu Mengyao wouldn't give up until she had a taste. Earlier on the beach, Lin Yi had only done some preliminary cleaning, cutting a few pieces of meat from the shark's tail, enough for him and Chen Yushu. Now, having flung the shark in half, Lin Yi marveled at its enormity. Dang, a crisp metallic clang echoed as Lin Yi's knife seemed to strike metal. He was startled. Could there be something else in the shark's stomach? He'd heard stories of people retrieving rings and other jewelry from sharks when they fished them. Many of these were taken with the sharks during their feeding, but the rings, unable to digest them, remained in the fish's stomachs. Could he have won a prize, too? Lin Yi quickly flung the shark aside and retrieved the foreign object. It was clearly not a ring, nor was it any jewelry. The object was enormous, not just very large, but incredibly large. When Lin Yi pulled it out, he was startled. It was a small device, resembling a motor-controlled device, with a large airbag trailing behind it. It appeared to be a remote control similar to a stabilizer, but it was covered in rust, and judging by the level of corrosion, it must have been quite old. This was a trained and modified shark. If Lin Yi's guess was correct, this stabilizer-like motor-like device should control the shark's swimming direction and speed, while the airbag controlled its height in the water. No wonder he didn't feel any burden swimming with Chen Yushu in front, dragging a shark behind him. It was like dragging an inflatable raft. But who had modified this shark? And what was the purpose? Clearly, the controller had lost its function, otherwise he wouldn't have encountered it. Lin Yi took it out and examined it carefully. It wasn't some high-tech gadget. With current technology, creating such a device wouldn't be difficult. The key question was, what was this shark used for? But since the matter had nothing to do with him, Lin Yi didn't dwell on it. Just as he was about to toss the controller aside, he suddenly noticed a small door on the bottom that could be opened. Lin Yi pulled it, but it was locked. There was a keyhole on top, probably just an ordinary key. Lin Yi found a toothpick from the kitchen and pried it back and forth a few times, and the door swung open. A small box sealed with plastic sheeting fell out, and Lin Yi picked it up. The box wasn't fancy, but it was very secure, a bit like the popular lock-and-lock plastic containers, but made of metal. Lin Yi tore off the plastic sheeting and waited a moment. When his jade pendant didn't give any warning, Lin Yi forcefully opened the metal box. Lin Yi was naturally cautious, because no one knew what was inside the box. What if it was a bomb? It would be tragic if Lin Yi were to explode as soon as he opened the box. Lin Yi took the contents of the box out, slightly startled. Inside was a piece of sheepskin. To be more precise, it was a sheepskin map, but it wasn't a complete map, just a fragment. Lin Yi couldn't yet determine how complete it was. The writing on the map was a language Lin Yi had never seen before. He knew some of the languages of most countries, and even if he didn't, he could still roughly identify the language. However, the writing on the map didn't belong to any particular language. Of course, it wasn't ruled out as belonging to a small nation or tribe unknown to Lin Yi, or perhaps a lost ancient civilization. Lin Yi's most likely scenario was that it was a secret code, or a cipher. Only someone who understood the decryption rules could understand its meaning. At this moment, Lin Yi understood that the shark had been used as a means of delivering intelligence, or perhaps even the map itself. However, something had happened along the way, causing the shark to lose control and fail to complete its mission. Both the controller and the map remained in its belly. Finding another shark like this in the vast ocean would be extremely difficult, and it was simply a coincidence that Lin Yi had encountered it. Lin Yi had no idea what the map was for, so he just stuffed it into his pocket, planning to study it when he had time. As for the control device, it was of no research value, so Lin Yi tossed it into the corner of the kitchen. Chapter 282 The Board of Directors Takes Action. Xiao Shu, is this the delicious shark meat you mentioned? Chu Mengyao chewed the fish in her mouth, but she didn't think it was tasty at all. It wasn't even as delicious as ordinary carp. Seeing Chen Yashu's expectant expression, Chu Mengyao felt embarrassed to refuse her face, especially since Lin Yi had been busy all afternoon preparing this shark, and now it was roasted and fragrant. It smelled good, but the taste was not delicious at all, just ordinary. Oh, Chen Yashu smelled the aroma of shark meat, and her appetite was greatly increased. She picked up a piece of shark meat with a fork, put it into her mouth, and began to chew it happily. Huh? Why isn't this shark meat as delicious as it was at noon? Chen Yashu frowned and tasted it carefully. The taste seemed to be the same, and there were even seasonings in it, which made the fish meat more fragrant, but when you chewed it, it was not as delicious as when you ate it at noon. Shark meat is not very delicious to begin with. Lin Yi also took a piece and started eating. At noon, you were too frightened and vomited everything in your stomach along with the seawater. It would be strange if you were not hungry, so you ate it very happily. Is that so? Chen Yashu was a little embarrassed. Sister Yao, why don't you not eat it? How can that be? Chu Mengyao shook her head. You have to eat it, you must eat it. This is your thoughtfulness. I am very happy when I eat it. Oh, then eat more. Actually, I think it is still delicious. Chen Yashu took another piece of fish and started eating. Damn it. You have a pig brain. Jin Gubang glared at his son, very angry. Lin Yi and Chen Yashu are not dead. The police station has received news. This time it's a big deal. What else could be wrong if he's not dead? Jin Maosheng was slightly taken aback. That old fox Chu Pengzhan is going to hold a board meeting tomorrow. I think he's going to take advantage of this, Jin Gubang said bitterly. If he takes back the industries I control, any investigation will find problems, and we're doomed. Jin Maosheng was no fool. After hearing his father's words, his face turned ugly. He hadn't thought too much about it before. Although it was a pity that Lin Yi didn't die, it was not a big deal. If he didn't succeed this time, there would be next time. He didn't expect Chu Pengzhan to use the amusement park incident to weaken the power of the Jin family. The amusement park happened to be one of the industries managed by Jin Gubang. If there was an accident at the amusement park, it could be a big deal or a small one. It all depended on Chu Pengzhan's opinion. Dad, I'm sorry, Jin Maosheng didn't expect today's incident to cause such a big disaster, and Chu Pengzhan's reaction was so quick. Forget it, he won't be able to find the problem in a short time. Don't we still have a trump card? I didn't want to do it so drastically, but since he forced me to, don't blame me for being rude. Jin Gubang sneered. Do you think Jin Gubang, am a fool and easy to bully? You want to weaken the power in my hands, then I will dismiss you as the chairman first. A trace of surprise flashed in Jin Maosheng's eyes. For the first time, he knew that his father had another trump card in his hand. All this time, his father had only been eroding the company's assets and power, trying to gain control of the company in this way. However, Jin Gubang seemed to have other preparations. And he was very confident in dismissing Chu Pengzhan as the chairman, which could not help but surprise Jin Maosheng. Dad Jin Maosheng was about to ask something, but was interrupted by Jin Gubang's wave of his hand. Don't ask so many questions. Just do your job, Jin Gubang said. By the way, was the guy who took them bungee jumping dealt with Xiaoma? I've already hinted to Zhang Yazi how to get rid of him, Jin Maosheng said. Don't worry, Dad. No one will find out what happened today. Really? Humph, that old fox Chu Pengzhan didn't even bother to investigate, Jin Gubang sneered. I really underestimated him. He actually called the police and said that since Chen Yashu and Lin Yi were fine, there's no need to investigate. It's obvious that he wants to put the blame on our Jin family. Jin Maosheng was speechless. It wasn't about putting the blame on us, it was our own doing. If the investigation really uncovered any problems, wouldn't the Jin family be doomed? Early Sunday morning, Pengzhan Group held an emergency shareholders meeting. Jin Gubang sat next to Chu Pengzhan with a sullen face. As the company's second largest shareholder and vice chairman, he was rightfully in this position. Okay, everyone is here, let's start the meeting now. Chu Pengzhan didn't say so many polite words, but went straight to the point. Everyone knows that a serious accident occurred at the amusement park carnival under our group yesterday. The victim was my daughter's good friend Chen Yusu. If something happened to her, our entire Pengzhan Group would be to blame. I believe everyone here knows Chen Yusu's background. This matter was not a secret. The shareholders present had already known about it before, so when they heard Chu Pengzhan's words, they all nodded. Indeed, if something happened to Chen Yusu, it would be a big deal. Fortunately, Chen Yusu is fine and was rescued by the police, Chu Pengzhan said. So, this incident shows that we were negligent in our management. If we had better management, and carefully checked the bungee cords every time, this accident wouldn't have happened. Jin Gubang listened to Chu Pengzhan coldly, mentally calculating a response plan. He wouldn't resort to that trump card unless it was absolutely necessary. While that would achieve his goal the fastest, even if he took the position of chairman, it would be difficult to convince the public. If he gave the entire real estate company away, none of the shareholders would support him. He couldn't just go his own way. So he needed a gradual process of consolidating power and integrating it. I don't want to hold anyone responsible. Although Vice Chairman Jin is in charge of the amusement park, I don't think Vice Chairman Jin wants something like this to happen, right, Vice Chairman Jin? Chu Pengzhan asked. Of course. No one wants an accident like this to happen, Jin Gubang replied calmly. But inwardly, he sneered. No accountability? Was he really interested in something else? As expected, Chu Pengzhan continued, Vice Chairman Jin is the company's vice chairman, and he's very busy every day. The entertainment industry is a branch of the company with relatively complex operations, so it's normal for Vice Chairman Jin to be unable to take care of it. Therefore, I suggest that we reduce some of Vice Chairman Jin's burden. Should Director Z be in charge of the entertainment industry from now on? Director Z is currently only in charge of the group's finance and human resources departments. Shouldn't he have any problems with adding to his responsibilities? Chapter 283 Changes in the board meeting. Zi Guangbo is the third largest shareholder of the group and the most powerful shareholder besides Chu Pengzhan and Jin Maosheng. Chu Pengzhan proposed that he take over the company's entertainment industry. It seems that no other shareholder would object. Raising your hand to oppose Chu Pengzhan's proposal can certainly please Jin Gubang, but it will offend the two major shareholders, Chu Pengzhan and Zi Guangbo. I believe that those shareholders will have a choice in their hearts about such a deal. This is also a brilliant move by Chu Pengzhan, transferring power to another major shareholder, leaving Jin Gubang and other shareholders speechless and impeccable. However, although this is a brilliant move, Chu Pengzhan still miscalculated. Jin Gubang was stunned after hearing Chu Pengzhan's proposal, and then he was overjoyed in his heart. Chu Pengzhan, you old fox, you deliberately wanted to weaken the power in my hands, but what about now? If you really take the power from me forcefully and take it for yourself, I believe the board of directors will approve it. After all, you are the chairman, and the other shareholders will not be able to offend you. The worst that can happen is that you leave others with a strong impression. But now, you actually gave the entertainment industry to Zi Guangbo? Ha ha. Jin Gubang almost laughed out loud. Zi Guangbo is his ultimate trump card, the last trump card. In fact, getting this last trump card was completely a fluke and an accident. If Chu Pengzhan had made trouble a few days earlier, Jin Gubang really had no solution, because at that time he and Zi Guangbo had not yet made friends. But now, Zi Guangbo needs his help. If he doesn't have his help, he can forget about having a son. Zi Guangbo has a son abroad who is a drunkard, a gambler, and a smoker. Not only does he owe a huge gambling debt, but he is also addicted to drugs. As a result, he owes hundreds of millions of yuan in usurious loans. Although Zi Guangbo was the company's third largest shareholder, he didn't have much cash on hand. Most of his assets consisted of stocks and real estate, so it was practically impossible for him to come up with hundreds of millions of yuan to help his son pay off his debts. But the money couldn't be repaid. His son was abroad, held captive by local gangs. If he didn't raise the money to pay off his debts within a month, they would cut off his limbs. Desperate, Zi Guangbo exploited his position overseeing the company's finance department to embezzle public funds, intending to pay them back when he had more money. However, even though he oversaw the finance department, he couldn't access such a large sum without the signature of the chairman or vice chairman. He didn't dare speak to Chu Pengzhan, so he placed his hopes on vice chairman Jin Gubang. Of course, he didn't dare bring it up directly, so he only hinted at the matter with Jin Gubang. Unexpectedly, the two hit it off. Jin Gubang had no special requests, only that Zi Guangbo would do his utmost to help him in his time of need. Zi Guangbo knew this was what was called taking sides. Generally, a company's three major shareholders were relatively independent, and any two that got too close would pose a threat to the others. But Zi Guangbo had no choice. His son's life was paramount. If he died, everything would be over. What good would all the money he made be? He'd already lived most of his life. So how much would he have left to spend? Wouldn't it be left to his children and grandchildren? Without his son, let alone grandchildren. So Zi Guangbo made the difficult decision to completely side with Jin Gubang. Zi Guangbo knew exactly what this meant. Jin Gubang's demand for a side was a clear signal to Zi Guangbo that he was ready to challenge Chu Pengzhan for power. At today's board meeting, Zi Guangbo hadn't anticipated Chu Pengzhan's impending rebellion against Jin Gubang, and the beneficiary would be him. In the past, Zi Guangbo wouldn't have turned down such a good offer, but now, he didn't dare. Having already formed a strategic alliance with Jin Gubang, he had to constantly consider Jin Gubang's interests. Looking up at Jin Gubang and seeing him looking back, Zi Guangbo nodded imperceptibly, indicating understanding. Jin Gubang, still smiling, continued Chu Pengzhan's words, "Haha, Chairman Chu's words do make sense. However, since this matter concerns me, I won't say anything." Chu Pengzhan was slightly taken aback by Jin Gubang's words. He had expected Jin Gubang to be the first to object, but he remained silent and abstained. That was a rather ambiguous attitude. Could it be that Jin Gubang didn't have any leverage over anyone in the entertainment industry, and wasn't afraid of being caught? Chu Pengzhan frowned, sensing something was definitely wrong during today's board meeting. But what, exactly, was beyond Chu Pengzhan's grasp. Since Jin Gubang hadn't objected personally, it was only natural that none of the other directors would oppose Chu Pengzhan's proposal. If you yourself didn't object, it was unlikely that others would offend Chu Pengzhan because of you. So, without a doubt, the board approved Chu Pengzhan's proposal to reduce Jin Gubang's burden. Haha, since no one objects, then from now on, the company's entertainment business will be handed over to Director Z. Chu Pengzhan hadn't expected today's board meeting to go so smoothly. Although he felt a little strange, weakening Jin Gubang's power was ultimately a good thing. Chairman Chu, as the person involved, I'd like to offer some suggestions on this matter, Zi Guangbo said calmly. Oh, Chu Pengzhan was slightly startled, his heart skipping a beat. Director Z, feel free to speak up. Haha, I think Vice Director Jin is managing the entertainment business well. There's no need to hand it over to me, right? Zi Guangbo said calmly. We can't completely dismiss Vice Director Jin's achievements and abilities just because of this minor incident. Under Vice Director Jin's management, the company's entertainment business still generates nearly 10 million in profits annually. And I can't claim to have Vice Director Jin's impressive management skills, so I don't recommend handing over the entertainment business he currently manages to me. Sorry, Chairman, my personal abilities are limited. I refuse. Chu Pengzhan's pupils suddenly constricted, and he stared intently at Zi Guangbo. When did this guy get involved with Jin Gubang? How did they end up on the same side? Zi Guangbo actually spoke up for Jin Gubang? Furthermore, this wasn't just a favor in the ordinary sense, he was pushing the entertainment industry, which had already been acquired, out of his grasp. If the two hadn't reached some private agreement, who would leave such a huge pie in front of them and give it to someone else? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284 I am a hitchhiker. Therefore, the only possibility is that Jin Gubang and Zi Guangbo have reached some kind of agreement in private. As for what the agreement is, Chu Pengzhan doesn't know. A bad thought surged in his heart. After Zi Guangbo finished speaking, he glanced at Jin Gubang with a smug look, but found that Jin Gubang's face was very dark. Yes, very dark. Jin Gubang was about to explode. Before, when Chu Pengzhan said that he would hand over his entertainment industry to Zi Guangbo, Jin Gubang was very happy, but now, Zi Guangbo actually refused, which made Jin Gubang call Zi Guangbo a fool. Why are you refusing? Why don't you just take it over? Anyway, I can't worry about it in your hands. Now we are on the same boat. I am not afraid that you will betray me. If you dare to betray me, will I be able to save your son? But if you refuse like this, won't Chu Pengzhan immediately know the relationship between us? Originally, Jin Gubang didn't want to expose their relationship too early. He was prepared to give Chu Pengzhan a fatal blow by surprise at the critical moment. Now that the relationship has been exposed in advance, the so-called surprise attack is impossible. Chu Pengzhan will definitely be on guard. If he wants to use this relationship, he can only act in advance. Jin Gubang really wanted to curse. He finally got a trump card, but he didn't expect it to be used so soon. He doesn't want to fall out with Chu Pengzhan yet, because even if he becomes the chairman, as long as Chu Pengzhan is still there, Chu Pengzhan still holds most of the shares of Pengzhan Group. He can't voluntarily give away the group's real estate company. Jin Gubang glared at Zi Guangbo hatefully, but at this point, he had no other choice. No matter how much he refused and denied, anyone could see that Zi Guangbo was related to him, and there was no point in explaining. The more capable, the more work. In that case, let's do as Chairman Zi wishes, Chu Pengzhan snorted. Let Vice Chairman Jin handle the entertainment industry. I hope he can train and rectify the situation quickly to prevent similar accidents. Don't worry, Chairman, I'll fix the amusement park immediately. Jin Gubang nodded. Chu Pengzhan was upset, and so was he. How could Zi Guangbo be so clueless that their relationship had been exposed just like that? After the meeting, Jin Gubang didn't go home directly, but instead made an appointment with Zi Guangbo. Now that this relationship had been exposed, they had to act quickly, so they could complete the chairman's re-election without Chu Pengzhan being caught off guard. On Monday, Lin Yi drove to school in Uncle Fu's car, but he packed some shark meat in a plastic container for Kang Xiaobo, Tang Yun, and Xiafan from the hospital. It was a whole shark anyway, so Lin Yi grilled a large plate and stuffed most of the shark in the freezer. As for the fragment of the map in the shark's belly, Lin Yi put it in a drawer. Since he couldn't understand it for the time being, Lin Yi didn't spend too much time studying it. He would study it slowly when he had the chance in the future. After what happened on Saturday, the relationship between the three of them became more harmonious. At least Chu Mengyao no longer had a stern face. Even if she had some opinions about Lin Yi's philandering, she didn't talk about it. Along the way, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu chattered about inexplicable topics, but Lin Yi was not very interested. They were all about girls' favorite things, such as fashion clothes and cosmetics, and Lin Yi couldn't get a word in. When they were about to reach the school, Chen Yashu pointed to a Mercedes-Benz not far ahead and said, "Sister Yao, isn't that Zhong Pinliang's car?" Chu Mengyao frowned when she heard Chen Yashu's words. When she looked up, she saw Zhong Pinliang getting out of the car. Zhong Pinliang was under a lot of pressure. Last night, his uncle called him specifically to inquire about the progress between him and Chu Mengyao. He heard that they hadn't even held hands yet, and Zhong Pinliang was called a waste by Jin Gubang. His uncle seemed to be about to take action against Pengzhan Group, but he hadn't yet dealt with Chu Mengyao. His uncle had already given him a death order, to get it done within a week, no matter what means, even force. As long as the matter was settled, Pengzhan Group would be his. Jin Gubang actually didn't want Zhong Pinliang and Chu Mengyao to be together. Chu Pengzhan only had one daughter, and his family business would definitely be passed on to Chu Mengyao, which meant it would go to Zhong Pinliang. But Zhong Fabe was not someone who would willingly be inferior to others. Although Zhong Pinliang and Chu Mengyao being together would temporarily relieve the pressure on him to remove Chu Pengzhan and become the new chairman of the group, it would only be temporary. Once Zhong Fabe gained power, perhaps he would use Chu Pengzhan's shares to buy it back. But he had no choice. Since his relationship with Zi Guangbo had been exposed, he had to hurry up and get promoted. As long as Zhong Pinliang could deal with Chu Mengyao and pin down Chu Pengzhan, he would have time to control the group. Zhong Pinliang got out of the car and turned around, only to see Chu Mengyao's Bentley right behind him. He was overjoyed. He was just worried about not having the chance to contact Chu Mengyao. When he saw Chu Mengyao's car, he immediately ran over and waited for Chu Mengyao to get out. "Sister Yao, he's coming," Chen Yushu said with a smile, looking at Zhong Pinliang outside the car with an attentive face. Oh my god, Chu Mengyao rubbed her forehead. Why is this guy so clingy? Is it never going to end? Lin Yi, get out of the car and drive him away. Me? Get out of the car. Lin Yi was stunned. If he got out of the car now, wouldn't it expose his relationship with Chu Mengyao? Yes, get out of the car and get him out of here. Chu Mengyao nodded. I don't want to see him anyway. What if he asks me why I am in your car? Lin Yi said with a wry smile. It's just on the way, I'm just taking a ride. Chu Mengyao didn't think there was anything wrong with this. Or just don't explain. He won't think too much about it anyway. You're Tang Yun's boyfriend. At this point, Chu Mengyao snorted. This was originally a shield hired by her dad, but now it's free for Tang Yun. The thought made her feel unhappy. How? Lin Yi smiled, opened the car door and got out. Yao? Eh? Lin Yi? Why are you in Yao's car? Zhong Pinliang originally thought it was Chu Mengyao who got out of the car. He was about to run over to her and say a few friendly words, but unexpectedly, he saw Lin Yi. Just taking a ride, Lin Yi gave Zhong Pinliang a cold look. 3 counts, get out of here. 1, 2 okay, we'll see. Zhong Pinliang was furious. Why the hell was I so unlucky? I finally found a chance to talk to Chu Mengyao. But I ran into Lin Yi again. However, I can't afford to offend this guy right now, so I can only endure it. But you just wait, when Zhang Neipao finishes his training and comes down the mountain, I will kill you. Chapter 285 Dr. Kang's Birthday Banquet. After Lin Yi got rid of Zhong Pinliang, he naturally didn't say anything to Chu Mengyao when he got back to the car, as that would only cause misunderstandings. Humming a little tune, Lin Yi, carrying 2 plastic containers, headed towards school. Another beautiful day of campus life had begun. Lin Yi had just reached the school gate when he heard someone calling from behind. Turning around, he saw Liu Xinwen running towards him. Behind Liu Xinwen stood a pretty girl. Who else could it be but Tang Yun? How? Lin Yi didn't need to ask, knowing Liu Xinwen was acting as Tang Yun's messenger again. Liu Xinwen, what's going on? Yunite asked you to wait for her at noon for lunch. Liu Xinwen's impression of Lin Yi had also improved slightly. It was also because of Lin Yi's active assistance with Xiaofen's matter that Liu Xinwen's previous rejection of Lin Yi was gone. Since Yunine had accepted him and was with him, why should he care so much? Liu Xinwen actually had the same thought in her mind. Okay, Lin Yi agreed without a second thought. He just wanted to give Tang Yun a taste of shark meat at noon. Furthermore, the shark's only precious fin had been split into 2 portions by Lin Yi. 1 portion went into Kang Xiaobo's box, to be given to Xiaofen, and the other portion was for Tang Yun. As for Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu, the 2 older girls, they had already ignored the shark fin. In their words, what good was there for fans? Tang Yun was clearly still a little embarrassed to be too close to Lin Yi around school. Seeing Lin Yi looking at her, she blushed slightly and turned her head away, pretending not to notice him. That touch of charm stunned the boys passing by, but no one dared to covet Tang Yun anymore. Everyone knew she was the girlfriend of the new school bully, Lin Yi. Even Zhu Ruiming had been beaten to pulp, so who would dare to even think about it? Liu Xinwen ran back quickly and took Tang Yun away. Lin Yi shook his head. Should he buy Tang Yun a mobile phone? His own mobile phone was broken and he had to replace it. Well, it seems that in the final analysis, he still has to make some money first. Although he can still afford a mobile phone, he will inevitably have to spend money in the future. If a man is not financially independent, nothing will work. Lin Yi regretted giving all the remuneration to his old man. At that time, there was no place to spend money, so Lin Yi just let him be stingy. Now he regrets not having enough money when he needs it. When he arrived at the classroom, Kang Xiaobo had already arrived. Seeing Lin Yi, he complained a little. Boss, where were you yesterday? I called you all day, but your phone was always turned off. I have something important to discuss with you. Oh? You called me yesterday? Lin Yi was slightly surprised, then remembered that his phone was soaked in water, but it didn't turn off. So he said, my phone is broken. What's the matter? Next weekend is my second grandfather's birthday, and I've been invited. I was wondering if I should take Xiaofen with me. Kang Xiaobo hesitated, then said. In matters like this, Lin Yi was the only one who could make decisions for him. Take Xiaofen? To attend your second grandfather's birthday party, Lin Yi gave Kang Xiaobo a strange look. You want her to meet Kang Xiaoming? Yes. Boss, you know that Kang Xiaoming has always been a knot in Xiaofan's heart. If this knot is not completely removed, even if she is with me, she will still think of Kang Xiaoming in her heart, Kang Xiaobo said. Although Xiaofan told me that she had given up on Kang Xiaoming a long time ago, I can be sure from the sadness she inadvertently revealed that deep in her heart, there is definitely Kang Xiaoming. Lin Yi nodded. Kang Xiaobo is not stupid. He is not blindly in love with Xiaofan. He also knows how to look at the things between the two people carefully. You are right. If there is no Kang Xiaoming in her subconscious, then she will not have schizophrenia, nor will she have hallucinations. In fact, the root cause of Xiaofan's schizophrenia is Kang Xiaoming. If she can make a break with Kang Xiaoming, then the wound in her heart will heal itself. Yeah, that's what I thought, Kang Xiaobo said. So, boss, I'd like to ask you to go with me. Okay, me? Go with you? Lin Yi didn't expect Kang Xiaobo to make such a request. Why should I go? Besides, is it okay to bring so many outsiders to your second grandfather's birthday party? Kang Xiaobo's decision to bring Xiaofan along was a bit of a stretch, but if Kang Xiaobo said Xiaofan was his girlfriend, it would be acceptable. What would it mean for him to go alone? Kang Xiaobo's classmate? Boss, you said before that the root cause of Xiaofan's schizophrenia is Kang Xiaoming. I took her to make a break, but I'm also afraid that Xiaofan will not be able to bear the pressure of sadness for a while. What if she gets sick again? Kang Xiaobo said worriedly. Actually, boss, I also want you to give me courage, since you call me boss. Of course there is no problem for me to accompany you. Lin Yi naturally didn't mind accompanying Kang Xiaobo, but said, I said before, is it okay for you to bring so many people? Don't worry about that, boss, Kang Xiaobo said. In fact, second grandpa's family holds many such gatherings every year, and the birthday party is just an excuse. Every time, some friends will be invited to bring their children to participate. The main purpose is to enhance the friendship of the next generation. It's called a birthday party, but it's actually a cocktail party for interpersonal resources. Everyone can bring friends to participate, but I didn't like such social gatherings in previous years, and no one would make friends with me. Kang Xiaobo laughed at this. As a member of the Kang family, he was the one who was ignored every year. Seeing his cousins being treated like stars amidst a group of young men and women made Kang Xiaobo feel a little disappointed. But it was no wonder. Those who came to make friends weren't fools. The direct descendants of Dr. Kang were the ones who were valued. For collateral relatives like Kang Xiaobo, just having a good reputation was enough. No one would go out of their way to curry favor. I see. Let's go then, Lin Yi nodded. It just so happened that Lin Yi also wanted to see who Dr. Kang was. If he and Guanzuman collaborated to produce and sell finished medicines, they would inevitably become competitors. Boss, why don't you bring Tang Yun along? Kang Xiaobo suggested with a chuckle. Tang Yun, she's not suited to that kind of occasion. Lin Yi guessed that Tang Yun had probably never attended a cocktail party like this before. Chapter 286 Brother Liang writes a blood letter. My main goal is to find Xiaofan a companion, Kang Xiaobo said. I'm afraid it wouldn't be fun for Xiaofan to go alone. She and Tang Yun are close friends, then I'll ask her. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't make the decision for Tang Yun. Okay, if that doesn't work, I'll let Xiaofan talk to him. Kang Xiaobo finally put his mind at ease. If Lin Yi wasn't with him, he wouldn't have dared to take Xiaofan with him. Who knows what kind of trouble would arise. By the way, here's something for you, Lin Yi said, pulling a plastic container from the bag and handing it to Kang Xiaobo. What's this? Kang Xiaobo took it, examining it. It looked like food. Shark meat and shark fins. Are you going to the hospital to see Xiaofan at noon? Bring them along so you can eat together, Lin Yi said. Shark meat and shark fins? No way. Boss, where did you get them? They seem pretty rare. Kang Xiaobo's eyes widened. I bought them at the market. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't claim to have killed the shark himself. That would be too shocking. I knew you were good to me, boss. I'll go enjoy it with Xiaofan at noon. Haha. Kang Xiaobo happily put away the lunchbox. Zhong Pinliang was very angry today. It was as if Lin Yi was sent by God to oppose him. Why was it that every time he wanted to do something, Lin Yi would get in the way? A freeloader? Damn it, he even got a freeloader. This kid was really shameless. He went to get a freeloader from Chu Mengyao's family? The most infuriating thing was that Chu Mengyao actually agreed to let him get a freeloader? Was he kidding me? Of course, Zhong Pinliang would never think that Lin Yi and Chu Mengyao had any relationship. First, Chu Mengyao couldn't possibly be interested in Lin Yi. Second, Lin Yi had a girlfriend. His girlfriend was Tang Yun, a common school beauty. The whole school knew about this, and Chu Mengyao couldn't have been unaware of it. So if there was any connection between the two people, it was only what Lin Yi said, freeloading. But as to why Lin Yi took a ride, Zhong Pinliang really had no way to ask. If he asked Chu Mengyao would not pay attention to him. If he asked Lin Yi, wouldn't that be asking for a beating? Brother Liang, what's wrong with you? Why are you frowning? Guo Xiaofu asked carefully, looking at Zhong Pinliang, who looked very hurt. Now that Zhang Neipao was gone, he became Zhong Pinliang's only lackey. Zhong Pinliang's life is not easy now, and Guo Xiaofu's life is not much better. In the past, they were showing off their power and who dared to mess with them? But now they are very cautious, for fear of provoking the great god Lin Yi and getting beaten up again. How can they live like this? It's all because of that bastard Lin Yi. This bastard. I wanted to talk to Chu Mengyao this morning, but this guy happened to show up there and chased me away. Zhong Pinliang was very angry, but he didn't dare to speak loudly. Hearing that it was Lin Yi who caused it, Guo Xiaofu also wilted. Brother Liang, we are outnumbered and weak now, there is no way we can be his opponent. This matter really needs long-term planning. If it doesn't work, just endure it for now, until you graduate from high school and go to college. I don't believe that Lin Yi will still be with us, forget it, let's not talk about him for now. Zhong Pinliang was not willing to mention Lin Yi, the person who hurt him a lot. Now the key issue is, how can I impress Chu Mengyao? She doesn't seem to have any feelings for me. I think I have done well enough, why is she not moved? This, Guo Xiaofu hesitated for a moment and said, Brother Liang, Chu Mengyao is not an ordinary person, and her family background is also very good, so, I think the ordinary methods may not be of any use to her. If you want to impress her, you have to use some special means. What is that? Xiaofu, do you have any good ideas? Zhong Pinliang's eyes lit up, and he seemed to think that what Guo Xiaofu said made some sense. I read a book a few days ago. When the hero in the book was pursuing his girlfriend, he wrote a blood letter. It was written with his own blood. After the heroine saw it, she was so moved that she became the hero's girlfriend. I think this method is more powerful. Brother Liang, if you have the courage, you might as well refer to it. Write a blood letter? This is a good idea. Zhong Pinliang thought about it and nodded. It is indeed a touching thing. I think if I were Chu Mengyao, I would be moved by my sincerity. Yes, Brother Liang, if you write a few more powerful words, I think Chu Mengyao will agree to you once her heart is moved. Guo Xiaofu nodded and said, Okay, I got it. So, after class, spread the word about me writing a blood letter to Chu Mengyao. Let the word spread around the classroom and build momentum for me, Zhong Pinliang said. That'll further demonstrate my sincerity. No problem, Guo Xiaofu nodded. He wouldn't dare confront Lin Yi, but he was no stranger to other tasks in the classroom. So, after the first period, Guo Xiaofu deliberately spread the word around the classroom that Zhong Pinliang, Chu Mengyao's die-hard admirer, was planning to write a blood letter proposing his love. Such sensational and romantic news. On campus, amidst the tedious life of senior year, where daily tests and exam preparation were the norm, even the smallest event could create a stir. Of course, these ripples faded just as quickly, as most students were interested in the novelty of the novelty, seeking a break from their intense study schedules for a change of pace before diving back into the sea of homework. Just like when Lin Yi beat up Black Panther, when Lin Yi handed Tang Yun a love letter, and when Lin Yi slapped Zhu Ruiming in front of the Dean of Academic Affairs, these stories spread quickly but also faded away. Within a few days, no one paid any attention to the incident. And Zhong Pinliang's blood letter incident only lasted 2 breaks before it was no longer mentioned. Perhaps, when he handed Chu Mengyao the blood letter, it still attracted attention. Chu Mengyao was a little angry. Writing a blood letter to herself? What was the point? Was he trying to scare herself? What was wrong with a blood letter? Did writing one necessarily mean I had to agree to it? Xiao Shu, how outrageous is Zhong Pinliang? He actually wanted to write a blood letter to me. Don't you think he's threatening me? Chu Mengyao said angrily. What's the big deal about bleeding a little? Yeah, Sister Yao and I bleed every month. It's nothing big, Chen Yushu nodded. Chu Mengyao looked at her best friend, wanting to pry her head open to see what she had in mind. Her associative ability was incredible, wasn't it? I can actually contact my aunt from Zhong Pinliang's blood letter. Chapter 287. You go stop him. What's wrong, Sister Yao? Chen Yushu was still unaware that she had rendered Chu Mengyao speechless with just one sentence. Zia Oshu, don't talk nonsense in the future. How can you talk about that thing casually? It will be embarrassing if a boy hears it, Chu Mengyao said to Chen Yushu patiently. Oh, I don't think it's a big deal. By the way, the sanitary napkins at home seem to be used up. I want to send Brother Arrow to buy some. Chen Yushu didn't care. No, how can you let a man buy such a private thing for you? Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu. I'll call and ask Uncle Fu to buy it. Chen Yushu was stunned. Sister Yao, isn't Uncle Fu a man? Chen Yushu felt that Uncle Fu was so sad and pitiful. He had been sent to the palace by Chu Mengyao several times. I wonder what he would think if he knew? That's different. Uncle Fu is the elder. Chu Mengyao also felt that she had gone too far. Uncle Fu had already been treated as a man several times. Oh, okay then, Chen Yushu nodded, seeming to understand. Then let Uncle Fu buy it. That's right. How can we stop Zhong Pinliang from writing that blood oath? It sounds scary. I don't want to receive a blood oath and have nightmares at night, Chu Mengyao said. You'll have to ask Brother Wrigley for that. Let him handle it. Chen Yushu was now adhering to the principle of if there's anything, ask Lin Yi. Okay, then tell Lin Yi and let him handle it. Chu Mengyao nodded, agreeing that Zia Oshu's method was the only way. He could only ask Lin Yi for a solution. Lin Yi looked at the small note Chen Yushu had passed him, speechless. Sister Yao asked you to stop Zhong Pinliang from writing the blood oath. It's up to you. Letting him beat up Zhong Pinliang was fine, but stopping Zhong Pinliang from writing the blood oath seemed a bit too much, didn't it? There is no reason to care. Should I just go and warn Zhong Pinliang, don't write a blood letter to Chu Mengyao, or I will beat you, but what identity should I go with? Lin Yi had a headache. However, since Miss Chu had given the order, Lin Yi still stood up and staggered towards Zhong Pinliang. At this moment, Zhong Pinliang was holding a carving knife, hesitating whether to cut his finger. Although Zhong Pinliang was not afraid of pain, it was a bit too scary to cut his own finger. Zia Ofu, come and help me, I can't do it myself. Zhong Pinliang handed the carving knife to Gao Zia Ofu. Oh, Gao Zia Ofu was not vague. After all, it was not his own hand that was cut. Then I will cut it, Brother Liang, just bear with it, shh. Zhong Pinliang shuddered, and the blood on his finger overflowed. There were no large blood vessels on the fingertips, so there would not be that kind of bleeding phenomenon. Brother Liang, write quickly, otherwise if the blood dries up, you'll have to start all over again, Gao Zia Ofu said. Oh, okay, Zhong Pinliang quickly began writing on the white paper he had prepared. Just as he wrote the word Yao, Lin Yi had quietly arrived in front of Zhong Pinliang. Zhong Pinliang suddenly felt someone coming in front of him. He subconsciously raised his head and saw Lin Yi. What are you going to do? Zhong Pinliang was startled. What was Lin Yi doing here? Was this guy looking for trouble with him again? Oh, nothing, let me see what you're doing. Lin Yi lowered his head and took a look at the blood letter written by Zhong Pinliang. Writing a blood letter, what else can I do? Lin Yi. I didn't provoke you, you'd better not make trouble. Zhong Pinliang was a little afraid of Lin Yi. Oh, good, I admire your courage, it's amazing. Lin Yi patted Zhong Pinliang twice. I just came to see if you really wrote it, but you didn't let me down. I'm optimistic about you. After that, without letting Zhong Pinliang speak, Lin Yi turned around and left, leaving Zhong Pinliang there looking at Lin Yi's back in confusion. This guy didn't come to cause trouble? Instead, he encouraged himself a few words. What's going on? Ah, Gao Zia Ofu suddenly screamed, scaring Zhong Pinliang. Zhong Pinliang was a little dissatisfied. Zia Ofu, why are you yelling? Brother Liang, your hand, your hand. Gao Zia Ofu widened his eyes and pointed at Zhong Pinliang's hand. Brother Liang, what's wrong with you? Zhong Pinliang lowered his head in confusion, but when he lowered his head, he was also shocked. His cut right index finger was gushing blood like a water gun, staining the white paper on the table a deep crimson. Ah, Zhong Pinliang screamed, nearly fainting from fright. He hadn't noticed the blood gushing from his hand before. With a wound, you only feel the pain. The amount of blood lost is hard to tell unless you look. There's a famous experiment where a person is blindfolded, has their wrists cut, and is placed in a room with the sound of dripping water. They mistake the sound for their own bleeding and are frightened to death. This proves that it's difficult for ordinary people to sense how much blood is flowing. Zhong Pinliang was no exception. When he found that his fingers were spurting blood like blood swords, he was completely shocked. How could this be bleeding? It was just like the water guns he played with when he was a child. Zhong Pinliang had no doubt that he raised his hand and the blood on his hand could be sprayed far away. Am I going to die? Xiaofu, take me to the hospital. He didn't even bother to write a blood letter. Zhong Pinliang was so scared that his legs were a little weak and he couldn't even stand up. He shouted in panic, "Quick, Xiaofu, call my dad and ask him to pick me up." The classmates in the classroom looked at Zhong Pinliang in surprise. When they saw his bleeding fingers, they covered their mouths in surprise. How could his fingers be broken and bleed like this? Sister Yao, look, Zhong Pinliang's hand has turned into a water gun, Chen Yushu said to Zhong Pinliang with some novelty. Chu Mengyao was a little frightened. Could it be Lin Yi who did it? I don't know, maybe it is. Brother Wrigley is very powerful. He can kill a shark, let alone Zhong Pinliang, Chen Yushu said. If Zhong Pinliang knew that Chen Yushu compared him with a shark, I don't know whether he should be happy or cry. Lin Yi sat in his seat, glanced at the panicked Zhong Pinliang out of the corner of his eyes, and curled his lips. He just pressed a few acupuncture points on him to speed up his blood circulation. In fact, there is no need to go to the hospital. It's just a little bleeding, no one will die, and he will return to normal after a while. Chapter 288, Telepathy. But this guy likes to make a fuss, so Lin Yi naturally ignores him. Anyway, Chu Mengyao's wish has been fulfilled, and he can't write a blood letter. Boss, what is Zhong Pinliang doing? Performing acrobatics? Why do I feel like his hands have practiced the 6 Meridians divine sword? Can they even spurt blood? Kang Xiaobo looked at Zhong Pinliang with sympathy. Why is this guy so unlucky? He can't stop bleeding even when writing a blood letter. Oh, who knows? I heard that when people are excited, their blood circulation speeds up. Maybe that's it, Lin Yi shrugged and said innocently. The incident of Zhong Pinliang writing the blood letter turned into farce and soon became known to everyone. It seemed that Zhong Pinliang's fingers could spurt blood, which attracted more attention than the previous news that Zhong Pinliang was going to write a blood letter. What kind of bullshit idea is this? I haven't even finished writing the blood letter yet, and I'm going to die from excessive blood loss in a while. Zhong Pinliang felt dizzy and his steps were a little weak. He almost fell to the ground. Brother Liang, you just cut your hand a little, right on your finger. Logically, it shouldn't be a problem, Go Xiaofu said, a little aggrieved. Brother Liang, we've had broken hands before in fights, and we've had more serious wounds than this, but never have you been bleeding like this. That's right, Zhong Pinliang thought to himself, and it made sense. He'd had broken hands before, too. He'd had countless cuts since he was little, and more serious ones than this, but never had he bled so profusely like this. And, it wasn't just bleeding, it was gushing blood. Brother Liang, that kid Lin Yi was here earlier. Could he have done something? Go Xiaofu asked, somewhat doubtfully. No matter how powerful Lin Yi is, he can't control my bleeding, can he? Zhong Pinliang shook his head, unconvinced that Lin Yi had such an ability. If he could control the blood in someone else's body, would he still be human? That's right, Go Xiaofu also shook his head, laughing at himself for being too nervous. Was he a little too afraid of Lin Yi? So much so that he even suspected him of such a strange thing. Forget it, let's go to the hospital quickly. If I don't leave now, I won't be able to walk soon. Zhong Pinliang shook his head, not thinking about Lin Yi. This guy is simply his nemesis. Every time he sees him, he will be unlucky. Although Zhong Pinliang didn't believe that Lin Yi had the ability to make his hand bleed, Zhong Pinliang felt that it was because Lin Yi happened to come over and look at him, which brought him bad luck. Huh? Brother Liang, your hand doesn't seem to be bleeding anymore. Go Xiaofu lowered his head, but was surprised to find that Zhong Pinliang's hand had stopped bleeding and returned to normal. Huh? Zhong Pinliang was also stunned. Looking at his fingers that had dried up for some reason, he was slightly stunned. Okay, it seems so, Go Xiaofu nodded. No way, Zhong Pinliang raised his hands suspiciously, looking at his fingers. But looking left and right, he couldn't see anything wrong. He could only shake his head helplessly. It's healed. I don't know what happened just now. Maybe it was just overnutrition. There was too much blood in my body, so some of it just got automatically excreted. Zhong Pinliang couldn't help but think so, because he had no other explanation. Brother Liang, are we still going to the hospital? Guo Xiaofu asked. Why? We'll be laughed at. Zhong Pinliang shook his head. Let's go back. Although Zhong Pinliang returned quickly, his farce had spread throughout the school, leaving Zhong Pinliang feeling humiliated. But there was nothing he could do. He'd already suffered enough embarrassment, so he didn't care about another one. At noon, Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo left the classroom together. Boss, Liu Xinwan and I have an appointment. We'll go to the hospital together every noon and after school to take care of Xiaofan. Are you coming? I'm not going. Lin Yi thought of his date with Tang Yun. This was the first time the little girl had asked him out for dinner. Of course, Tang's mother's invitation before didn't count. Oh eh? Boss, Tang Yun is going too. Kang Xiaobo came to the place where he and Liu Xinwan agreed to wait every day, but saw Liu Xinwan and Tang Yun standing together. Lin Yi was also slightly startled, and walked over and said, Tang Yun, didn't you come to see me? Why are you going to the hospital too? I braised some chicken wings and brought them for you to try. Let's eat them together at the hospital. Tang Yun blushed a little. In fact, she made it specially for Lin Yi, but she thought of Xiaofan who was still in the hospital and it would be inconvenient for her to eat alone, so she wanted to bring it to the hospital for everyone to share. No way? What a coincidence. Boss also brought shark meat. Kang Xiaobo was stunned and said, raising the lunchbox in his hand. Shark meat? Liu Xinwan and Tang Yun were both stunned. Where did you get the shark meat? Oh, I bought it yesterday and grilled some. There's also shark fin, Lin Yi explained. Originally, it was divided into 2 boxes, one for Kang Xiaobo to take to the hospital, and the other for Tang Yun. But since we're all going to the hospital, let's share. This box is quite a bit. Kang Xiaobo shook the box in his hand. Big boss, why don't you give your box to your sister-in-law? There's no way the 5 of us can eat that much. Okay, Tang Yun, then take it back for your uncle and aunt to try. Lin Yi handed the box to Tang Yun. Tang Yun felt a little embarrassed by Kang Xiaobo calling her sister-in-law. She shyly accepted the box from Lin Yi, feeling a little surprised. It was such a coincidence. She made something delicious thinking of him, and he was thinking of her too. Was this a kind of telepathy? A girl in love always enjoys these beautiful fantasies. Lin Yi's casual gesture delighted Tang Yun. Especially when she heard there was shark fin in it. It must be very expensive, right? My parents probably haven't eaten it before, so I'd like to bring it back for them to try. The 4 of them happened to hail a taxi. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwan, given their personalities, naturally didn't want to spend the money, but Lin Yi insisted, and after some explanation, they agreed. Lin Yi's explanation was simple. The bus from school to the hospital cost 2 yuan per person, while a taxi, or the car fare, was only 10 yuan. It was only an extra 2 yuan, so why bother taking the bus? Tang Yun and Liu Xinwan blushed after hearing this. It seemed they were both used to being poor, a bit stingy, and couldn't even figure out the simplest arithmetic problems. Chapter 289. You are not me, and I am not you. I sincerely ask everyone to cast some recommendation votes. After getting in the car, Lin Yi was thinking, when will he get a license plate for that broken van? The broken van he got from Black Panther was still parked in the yard of Chu Mengyao's house. Although it was a bit out of tune with the elegant villa, Chu Mengyao didn't say anything. Compared to the beginning, Chu Mengyao has become much more easygoing. She has gradually accepted Lin Yi and tacitly accepted the fact that he has become a member of this villa. So when Lin Yi put a broken car in the yard, Chu Mengyao pretended not to see it. After thinking about it, Lin Yi took out his mobile phone and dialed Song Lingshan's number. Lin Yi's own mobile phone was broken, and now he is using a mobile phone that Chen Yashu had discarded before. The pink shell phone made Kang Xiaobo, who was sitting next to Lin Yi, widen his eyes. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwan in front were chatting and did not notice this. Hello? Lin Yi, Song Lingshan answered Lin Yi's call. She was a little annoyed when she thought of what happened yesterday, but she still said, I have sent your photo to the mailbox of your mobile phone. You can just check it. Is there anything else? Oh, I want to talk to you about something else, Lin Yi said. I have a broken van with no license plate. Can you help me get one? I'm a criminal police, not a traffic police. Song Lingshan was furious after hearing what Lin Yi said. Do you have nothing to do? I'm very busy every day. Go to the traffic police to register your car, okay? The vehicle management office is in the back street west of the municipal bureau. The car is not new. Where can I register it? Who else can I go to if not you? Lin Yi was speechless. Is this girl stupid? Is there a problem with her comprehension? If the car can be registered normally, why would he look for her? That's all I can do. Don't bother me. There's a big case going on, and I'm very busy, Song Lingshan said impatiently. Remember, I'm a criminal police officer. Don't ask me to do anything that has nothing to do with my job. I'm hanging up now. Oh, I remember. You remember this too. I'm a student, not a police officer or ultraman. Don't ask me to do anything unrelated to my studies in the future. Lin Yi was a little angry. It's just a small favor, but you have to say so much to put me down? Song Lingshan really wanted to throw the phone down, but she held back. The car wasn't stolen, was it? No, it should have been properly registered. You can check the files and see. It was driven by Black Panther. Lin Yi smiled. The girl finally gave in. Then drive over this afternoon. But if I find out it's a stolen car, I'll confiscate it, Song Lingshan said bitterly. Okay, Lin Yi smiled and hung up the phone. Boss, why did you change your phone to this one? Kang Xiaobo had no interest in Lin Yi's phone. He had seen Lin Yi driving a better car, so he had no interest in Lin Yi having a broken van. Didn't I tell you, my phone is broken? This is a friend's discarded one, and I borrowed it temporarily, Lin Yi said. Let me see it. Kang Xiaobo stretched out his hand. Lin Yi didn't think much about it and handed the phone to Kang Xiaobo. Kang Xiaobo opened the flip cover of the phone, but his eyes widened. Because the background pattern on the phone screen was Chen Yushu. Kang Xiaobo wanted to ask something, but when he saw Tang Yun on the other side of Lin Yi, he stopped talking. Kang Xiaobo would not dare to ask such a question that would cause a quarrel now, no matter how stupid he was. It would be bad if Tang Yun misunderstood. However, Kang Xiaobo still poked Lin Yi with his hand and returned the phone to Lin Yi with a smirk on his face. Lin Yi also noticed Chen Yushu's photo on the phone screen and smiled bitterly. The owner of this phone is the same person who owned the Beetle. Having Kang Xiaobo find Chen Yushu's photo twice, Lin Yi felt a little embarrassed. It seemed he really had to be more careful in the future. When he borrowed Chen Yushu's phone, Lin Yi didn't think much of it. He just wanted to use it for a few days and didn't bother to change the settings. Who would have thought that Kang Xiaobo would see it? Lin Yi awkwardly switched to the picture menu, ready to change the background image. It would have been better if he hadn't gone in. When he did, Kang Xiaobo's eyes widened. There were more than one photo of Chen Yushu in there. Not only Chen Yushu, but also Chu Mengyao. And they were all daily photos, of them eating together, shopping, and even selfies at home. Lin Yi broke into a sweat and quickly closed the flip cover of the phone and stuffed it into his pocket. He glanced at Kang Xiaobo awkwardly, but Kang Xiaobo's face showed a look of surprise. Now, even if he was told that this phone was Lin Yi's, he wouldn't believe it. Putting aside the fact that this phone was clearly a girl's color, the photos inside definitely didn't belong to Lin Yi. Lin Yi couldn't possibly have so many photos of Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. While they weren't revealing private photos, they were still intimate photos of their daily lives. How did Lin Yi get them? But if this phone wasn't Lin Yi's, who could it be? Kang Xiaobo wasn't the type to ignore the seriousness of the situation. Although he had 1,000 doubts, he could only keep them to himself at this point. Speaking them out would surely cause Tang Yun to misunderstand. The taxi stopped at the hospital's inpatient ward. Lin Yi paid 10 yuan and got out. Lin Yi? Is that you? A pleasant, surprised voice rang out from behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi turned around and saw Guanzin. It's you, haha, what a coincidence. Yes, Lin Yi, are you here to visit your friend? I'm going to give her an acupuncture treatment. Let's go up together. Guanzin couldn't help but feel happy to see Lin Yi. For the past few days, she'd been hanging around the inpatient department, whether she had something to do or not. No one knew why, perhaps just to run into Lin Yi. She'd volunteered to take on the acupuncture duties in the ward, and had become familiar with Liu Xinwen, Kang Xiaobo, and Tang Yun. However, the prettiest girl, Tang Yun, smiled as she looked at her, but there was a hint of wariness and hostility in her eyes. Guanzin naturally understood why she reacted that way, because she was afraid she'd steal her boyfriend. Actually, Guanzin didn't really want to compete with Tang Yun. She wasn't sure of her feelings either, but she felt a genuine gratitude towards Lin Yi and wanted to see and talk to him more. As for other thoughts, Guanxin didn't think much of them for the time being. Tang Yun pursed her lips, her face turning pale. Liu Xinwen naturally noticed the change in her expression, squeezed her hand, and whispered, "Why, are you afraid she'll steal your man?" Tang Yun shook her head slightly. "What's so good about him? Does he think everyone likes him? It's better if he steals her, so he doesn't take advantage of me." Chapter 290 I'll die for you to see. Tang Yun's words were clearly insincere, as Liu Xinwen could already sense the slightest sweat on her palms. Tang Yun was nervous. Liu Xinwen sighed. She had never imagined that a girl as beautiful and outstanding as Tang Yun would face the danger of being poached. But after taking one look at Guanxin, who was no less adorable than Tang Yun, and wearing a nurse's uniform, what man wouldn't be tempted? "Yunyan, don't worry. If he dares to act unfaithful, I'll beat him to a pulp." Liu Xinwen raised her fist fiercely and whispered to persuade him. How? Tang Yun couldn't help but laugh. Liu Xinwen was indeed very powerful, but could she beat Lin Yi? This guy could send Zhu Ruiming flying with just one slap. Tang Yun shook her head. Was she too nervous? Was Lin Yi really that good? Was there anyone else competing with her? Besides, he and I weren't really boyfriend and girlfriend, just closer. If he really liked Guanxin, there was nothing he could do. He couldn't just shamelessly cling to him, could he? "Boss, you're awesome. Tell the truth, are you having an affair with Guanxin's sister?" Kang Xiaobo wasn't stupid. Seeing Guanxin so passionate about Lin Yi, he naturally thought of something. "Sister? She's older than you." Lin Yi glared at Kang Xiaobo. "It's nothing. I met her when I was injured and came here to get my bandages changed. We were pretty good friends." "Injured? Where?" Kang Xiaobo chuckled, his eyes scanning Lin Yi. "You brat." Lin Yi slapped Kang Xiaobo on the back of the head and, without further ado, walked over to Guanxin. "Thank you for taking care of my friend's business. Having an acquaintance in the hospital, even if it was just a nurse, was much more convenient." Lin Yi knew this. He couldn't just call Guan Lao for everything, right? It's okay for big things, and for small things, the nurse can help take care of it. "It's nothing, this is what I should do." Guanxin blushed slightly, a little embarrassed. "I won't affect your relationship with your girlfriend, right?" Guanxin saw Tang Yun with an unhappy face, a little at a loss. Although she was a few years older than Tang Yun, she was just a girl who had just left school and was not much more mature. At this moment, she was a little worried that Lin Yi would alienate her because of Tang Yun. "Oh," Lin Yi smiled. "No." In the ward, Guanxin put a bottle on Xiafen and left in a hurry. Although she wanted to stay and talk to Lin Yi for a few more words, she still had other wards to take care of. Patients need injections and medication. This is a big deal and cannot be delayed. Guanxin knows the importance of each. So, when Kang Xiaobo and Liu Xinwen tried to get her to lunch together, Guanxin waved her hand and declined. "I really still have a few wards to go to. You guys go ahead and eat, I'll eat later." Tang Yun, on the other hand, felt a little embarrassed. She wondered if Guanxin was embarrassed because she and Lin Yi were here. Women, with their natural sensitivity, could naturally sense Guanxin's slight interest in Lin Yi. However, Tang Yun felt bad when she saw Guanxin so eager to distance herself from him. They were all women, so why bother with a woman? It was her own business if she liked Lin Yi, and she hadn't expressed anything, so why was she being so pushy? Tang Yun noticed Guanxin's frantic efforts with Xiafen's needs, so she hesitated for a moment before standing up. "Sister Guanxin, how about we all eat together?" "Thank you." Guanxin smiled. "The patient can't be delayed, so eating is a piece of cake. How about you treat me to a nice meal when Xiafen is discharged?" "That's fine." Tang Yun nodded, not trying to persuade her to stay. It seemed she'd been overthinking it. Guanxin truly had something to worry about and couldn't stay. Liu Xinwen sighed, looking at the somewhat sentimental Tang Yun. Yunyan was truly lost. In the past, she wouldn't have worried about such things. Xiafen seemed delighted to have everyone come to visit her at noon. After not seeing her for a few days, Lin Yi noticed that Xiafen had become much more cheerful and talkative, cracking jokes with everyone, and the ward was filled with laughter. Of course, all of this was largely thanks to Kang Xiaobo. He patiently stayed with Xiafen every day, chatting with her and telling her about things happening at school. "Lin Yi, I never thought you were the school bully." Xiafen had learned about Lin Yi from Kang Xiaobo. "Don't bully Yunyan. Otherwise, None of us will let you go, haha, no, Lin Yi said with a smile. You should say that to Kang Xiaobo, right? Xiaofen felt shy after hearing Lin Yi's words and lowered her head slightly. After dinner, Liu Xingwen went to the bathroom to clean the plastic containers and dishes. Kang Xiaobo sat at the head of Xiaofen's bed, hesitant, obviously wanting to talk about a party he was going to this weekend. Lin Yi took Tang Yun's hand. Tang Yun shuddered slightly and gave Lin Yi a glare of reproach. Why are you pulling me? Xiaobo has something to tell Xiaofen. Let's go over there. Lin Yi pointed to the bed across from her. Oh, Tang Yun finally noticed that Kang Xiaobo seemed to have something to say. She ignored Lin Yi's hand and sat on the bed across from her. Although they were quite far away, they could still hear what Kang Xiaobo said. Kang Xiaobo told Xiaofen about the second grandfather's birthday, and naturally told her about Kang Xiaoming. At this moment, Xiaofen knew Kang Xiaobo's life experience for the first time. He was actually the man's cousin? Kang Xiaobo invited Xiaofen to go to the second grandfather's birthday party with him. Xiaofen hesitated, lowered her head, a little nervous, and a little at a loss. Tang Yun did not expect that Kang Xiaobo would make such a bold decision to take Xiaofen to a family banquet, and moreover, it was a banquet with Kang Xiaoming present. Looking at Xiaofen's nervousness and hesitation, Tang Yun sympathized with her in her heart, but she could not say anything at the moment. If you dare to treat me like Kang Xiaoming treated Xiaofen, I will die in front of you. Tang Yun did not know where she got the courage from. She suddenly turned her head and looked at Lin Yi, saying word by word. Lin Yi was stunned. I don't want your promise, Tang Yun interrupted Lin Yi. Kang Xiaoming also made a promise to Xiaofen before, but he abandoned Xiaofen. But I am not Xiaofen, have you really thought about it? If you don't want me in the future, I will really die in front of you. When Tang Yun said this, she looked at Lin Yi viciously, as if she wanted to eat him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291 Emergency. No, Lin Yi clenched his fists. This was his last mission. As long as he finished this one, he would be free, able to stay and live in this city with the girl he loved. Tang Yun didn't say anything else. She was just speaking from her heart. Seeing Xiaofen so pitiful, she didn't want to repeat the same mistake. This was why she repeatedly confirmed Lin Yi's feelings. She had to be certain, because she was sinking deeper and deeper into trouble. Song Lingshan was distressed. Why did the criminal police team have such bad luck just after she took over? First, a Black Panther escaped, but was captured by Lin Yi. She thought she could relax for a few days, but who knew that a psychopathic murderer would suddenly attack while receiving treatment in the hospital, injuring a criminal guarding him, and then fleeing. This psychopathic murderer was already seriously injured when he was admitted to the hospital. Of course, his injuries were caused by Song Lingshan. She knew how hard Song Lingshan had hid him, because she really couldn't stand him. He murdered an entire family, not even sparing a 3-year-old boy. His methods were incredibly brutal. He was placed in a washing machine and pulverized to death. Song Lingshan naturally showed no mercy to such a ruthless individual. During their arrest, the man resisted, which suited Song Lingshan's purpose. She beat him up and sent him to the hospital. Although he would have received the death penalty in court, letting him die like that was too easy a punishment. So, despite the risk of punishment, Song Lingshan sent him to the hospital. Fortunately, his brutality sparked public outrage, and instead of criticizing Song Lingshan, public opinion focused on the killer. Yang Huaijin also spoke in Song Lingshan's favor, and the matter was finally resolved. The psychopathic killer remained in the hospital for a week, his injuries likely taking a month to heal. However, he mysteriously attacked, injured the guards, and fled, never to be heard from again. Upon receiving the report from her subordinates, Song Lingshan's face darkened. Another one ran away. Would that make others laugh at Song Lingshan's incompetence? When Yang Huaijin was the captain, the affairs of the criminal police team were managed in an orderly manner. Song Lingshan took over for only a few days, and so many troubles occurred. Although the previous troubles had just been resolved, another one appeared here. How could Song Lingshan not be annoyed? Lin Yi called again at this time to ask about a license plate. Song Lingshan almost scolded him and hung up the phone. Police forces have been deployed at all major traffic arteries. I believe that the perverted murderer will be discovered as soon as he shows up. However, the strange thing is that after the perverted murderer ran away from the hospital, he seemed to have disappeared. No one has seen him since then. Logically, the physical characteristics of this perverted murderer are very obvious. He has a bandage on his head and wears a hospital gown. If such an obvious person ran out on the street, there would definitely be witnesses. But unfortunately, there were no witnesses. One can imagine the pressure on Song Lingshan. She didn't want to trouble Yang Huaijin anymore, so she had no choice but to withstand the pressure and send more police to search for the escaped perverted killer. Ring, the phone rang suddenly, and Song Lingshan quickly picked up the phone. This is Song Lingshan, Captain Song. This is Liu Wangli. Something happened. Liu Wangli's voice rang on the phone. What happened? Song Lingshan's heart skipped a beat. What she feared was really what happened. There were already enough things to go through, so why did something else happen? Wang Guanaya didn't actually escape, but was lurking in the hospital, Liu Wangli said hurriedly. He actually attacked Liu Bojia again and was ready to kill him, but was discovered by a nurse who entered Liu Bojia's ward. Now Wang Guanaya is using that nurse as a hostage. Let us please prepare a helicopter for him to take away. Liu Wangli reported the situation in one breath. Although it was not very rigorous, time was tight and he didn't have time to explain in detail. Wang Guanaya was the perverted murderer, and Liu Bojia was one of the victims of this family annihilation case. Although he was stabbed in the heart by Wang Guanaya, his heart position was slightly offset and he did not die immediately. He was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment and was considered to have saved his life. However, what was unexpected was that Wang Guanaya was still not going to let Liu Bojia go under such circumstances. What kind of hatred could be so strong? Song Lingshan asked Liu Bojia more than once, wanting to ask him if he had a grudge against Wang Guanaya, but Liu Bojia denied that he knew Wang Guanaya. When asked if he had any enemies, Liu Bojia either said he was tired or had a heartache. Song Lingshan had no choice but to wait until his injuries were completely healed before asking him in detail. But one thing is certain, Liu Bojia must be hiding something. Wang Guanaya was even more elusive. He recounted over and over how he had put the 3-year-old boy in the washing machine and then bludgeoned him to death, then described the rape and murder of Liu Bojia's wife. Even these experienced detectives were horrified by his appalling manner of crime. Previously, Wang Guanaya and Liu Bojia's confessions had suggested they were completely unrelated, and Wang Guanaya was dismissed as a psychopath driven to murder. Liu Bojia didn't even know Wang Guanaya, let alone harbor any grudges. But now, Wang Guanaya had gone to Liu Bojia's hospital room again. This was far more serious. It was something strange and unusual. Liu Wangli, the captain of the 1st Criminal Squadron, responsible for searching the area near the hospital, was the first to arrive. He couldn't afford to delay, dispatching a negotiation expert to negotiate with Wang Guanaya while simultaneously reporting the situation to Song Lingshan. I'll be right there. Song Lingshan hung up the phone and immediately prepared to rush to the hospital. No wonder Wang Guanaya was nowhere to be found. It turned out he hadn't even left the hospital. Inside the hospital, there were likely quite a few people wearing hospital gowns and bandages, so it was normal for him to go unnoticed. Lin Yi and Tang Yun were sitting on the hospital bed, making vows of eternal love, when Liu Xinwen stumbled into the ward. Oh no! Oh no! Something terrible has happened. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, Kang Xiaobo, and Xia Fen, who were also speaking, were all stunned. They looked up at Liu Xinwen in confusion, unsure what she meant by something terrible. It's said that a psychopathic serial killer has kidnapped a nurse in the ward. A group of police have surrounded the ward, right at the end of the corridor on our floor. I was so scared that I ran back to tell you, Liu Xinwen said with lingering fear. A perverted murderer. Lin Yi was stunned. Why did he end up in the hospital? Who knows? Liu Xinwen shook her head. It's a good thing he didn't come to our ward, otherwise it would have been dangerous. Chapter 292 Guanxin was kidnapped. Oh, Lin Yi chuckled inwardly. It was indeed a good thing he hadn't come to this ward, otherwise he would have been in danger. If there was any danger threatening Tang Yun, Lin Yi would have mercilessly eliminated it. Boss, shall we go out and take a look? Kang Xiaobo was curious. This kind of police-criminal standoff was rarely seen. Let's take a look, Lin Yi said indifferently. He turned to look at Tang Yun. Are you going? Tang Yun was a little scared, but also a little curious. You still want to go and watch? Liu Xinwen was surprised. She had kindly come back to tell them not to go out, but they actually volunteered to watch the fun. With the police out front, it shouldn't be a problem, right? Kang Xiaobo said, standing up and heading out. Sure enough, when they opened the door, the corridor was already full of onlookers, some in hospital gowns, some passing doctors and nurses. The innermost part of the corridor was cordoned off by police, preventing these onlookers from passing. Song Lingshan trotted to the hospital, Liu Wangli at her side, detailing the situation as they walked. The nurse who was kidnapped is Guanxin, 20 years old, a recent graduate. She was changing Liu Bojia's dressing when she saw Wang Guanai attacking him, and so she was abducted and taken hostage, Liu Wangli explained as they walked. What? Guanxin, Lin Yi was just leaving the ward when he ran into Song Lingshan. He was startled when Liu Wangli mentioned Guanxin's name. Lin Yi? Why are you here? Song Lingshan was also surprised to see Lin Yi in the hospital. She hadn't expected him to be there. Tang Yun felt a little bit of resentment at Lin Yi's concern for Guanxin, but she didn't say anything. She, too, felt a pang of anxiety when she heard it was Guanxin. Although she harbored a lingering hostility towards Guanxin, it was undeniable that after their time together, they had become friends. Regardless, Tang Yun was still a little worried about Guanxin. Lin Yi didn't answer Song Lingshan, but instead looked at Liu Wangli. Brother Liu, you said the hostage is Guanxin. Why? Do you know her? Liu Wangli was already familiar with Lin Yi. He had just driven him and Shark home the day before yesterday. Yes, a friend of mine, Lin Yi nodded. I'll go check it out. Song Lingshan frowned, but said nothing. Lin Yi's skills were quite good, so he could at least protect himself. If he knew the hostage, perhaps there would be a chance. Wang Guanai knew him, and if he took action, he would definitely be wary. But besides Yang Huaijin, there was really no one else on the police force with better skills than him. If they wanted to approach Wang Guanai, Lin Yi might be an excellent choice. But to be honest, Song Lingshan didn't want Lin Yi to help. One reason was that she was worried about his ability, and the other was that if this guy really helped her again, he would intensify and ask her to help him do some crappy things in the future. Don't tell me those useless things. Wang Guanai looked at the negotiation expert in front of him with disdain. Hurry up and prepare 500,000 cash and a fully fueled helicopter for me, otherwise, I will kill this girl. Wang Guanai licked his tongue, with a fierce light in his eyes. He tightened the knife on Guanxin's neck, and thin blood marks appeared on Guanxin's neck. The negotiation expert was also sweating. He didn't expect Wang Guanai to be a person who would not be moved by soft or hard words. He didn't listen to a word he said to him. Instead, he told himself the cruel experience of how he put a 3-year-old boy in the washing machine and crushed him to death. Okay, I promise you, Song Lingshan's voice rang out, but you must ensure the safety of the hostages. Song Lingshan was at her wit's end. She had to hold the criminals back first. If Wang Guanai harmed the hostages, she, as the captain of the criminal police, would be held responsible. He was still the acting captain, and it was estimated that he would never be promoted to the official position. He might even be demoted. Don't come over here. Wang Guanai saw Song Lingshan, and a trace of hatred flashed in his eyes. He was a little afraid of this woman. He was no match for her. If he let her get close, he would be in danger. Okay, I won't go over there. Song Lingshan frowned slightly. She had wanted to approach without anyone noticing, and then suddenly make a move to restrain Wang Guanai. However, Wang Guanai seemed very smart. He knew that Song Lingshan was very skilled and did not give her any chance at all. Tell your men to put down their guns and step back, Wang Guanai said. Okay, put down your guns. Song Lingshan waved to the men behind him. The only thing they could do now was to play it safe. They could not shoot rashly unless they were sure they could kill Wang Guanai with one shot. Send me some food. I'm hungry, Wang Guanai said. Don't even think about tampering with the food. I'll give it to this girl first. Call the hospital cafeteria now and have them send lunchboxes directly here. Don't do anything, okay, I promise. Song Lingshan nodded, but her mind was already racing. She was initially delighted to hear Wang Guanai wanted to eat, thinking she could just tamper with the food. But she hadn't expected him to be so clever. He had to call the hospital in person to have food delivered, which seemed difficult to do in such a short time. Leave me alone. Shoot. The patient in the ward was stabbed. If we don't save him, his life will be in danger, Guanxin suddenly shouted. Song Lingshan was startled, then remembered that there was another person in the ward, Liu Bojia. Her face suddenly darkened. She had been so preoccupied with Wang Guanai that she had forgotten about Liu Bojia. Damn it. Bitch, don't you want to live anymore? I'll rape you first, and then I'll cut off your flesh piece by piece. Wang Guanai didn't expect that the young nurse would actually dare to turn against him. He was so angry that he put the knife to Guanxin's neck and pressed it hard. He could see drops of blood oozing from Guanxin's neck. Don't be impulsive. Don't you want the previous conditions anymore? Song Lingshan immediately stopped Wang Guanai. It was indeed a good opportunity before. If he could let his men shoot regardless of casualties, Wang Guanai might be killed. However, Song Lingshan didn't dare to take the risk. She really didn't dare. She didn't dare to make any more mistakes. Huh? Stop threatening me, Wang Guanai curled his lips and said disdainfully. At this moment, the lunchboxes from the hospital cafeteria were delivered. It was delivered by a young man from the cafeteria, but he was immediately frightened when he saw the scene. He didn't dare to get close anymore and turned around to run away. Chapter 293 Promise. Have him bring the lunchbox to me in the room, Wang Guanai ordered. He didn't dare to be distracted and stretch out his hand to take the lunchbox, so he had to have someone bring it into the room to be safe. I won't go, don't look for me. The young man was obviously not very old and had just entered society. How could he have seen such a scene? He was frightened by Wang Guanai's angry shout and sat on the ground. If a policeman next to him had not quickly helped him, the lunchbox in his hand would have fallen to the ground. Wang Guanai was speechless. Is there such a coward? He didn't do anything to him, but he was so scared when he asked him to bring a lunchbox. He was too cowardly, wasn't he? Hurry up, have him bring the lunchbox into me, I'm hungry, Wang Guanai shouted. No, I won't go, absolutely not, even if you kill me, I won't go. The young man shook his head, his eyes full of fear, and a puddle of water appeared under him. The policeman next to him couldn't stand it anymore. He was actually scared to wet his pants. Frowning, he said to Wang Guanai, how about I take it in for you? Don't worry, I'm unarmed, and I can hand it over right in front of you. No, you take it for me? Do I know you? Who knows if you'd attack me? Wang Guanai was clearly no fool. He wouldn't let the police get close to him, that would be courting death. Song Lingshan felt helpless. You can see now, there's no way he can take the food in for you. We can't force him to do it, can we? How about I take it for you? You're even less capable. Wang Guanai immediately rejected the idea. How about this? Just find someone else who's watching and take it in for me. As soon as Wang Guanai said this, the crowd gathered to watch the excitement immediately began to move back, unwilling to be drafted into service. They could watch the excitement, but asking them to do something dangerous was out of the question. No one wanted to die. Delivering food to the criminals at this moment was a near-fatal danger, wasn't it? Song Lingshan watched as the crowd, previously happily watching the excitement, retreated, feeling a bit indignant. She'd just yelled at them to stay away, but they wouldn't leave, even staying so close to watch. Now, how could they be running faster than rabbits? However, she couldn't say anything about it, so she could only complain in her heart. Suddenly, Song Lingshan turned around and looked at Lin Yi, who was not far away. A plan came to her mind. Although she disliked Lin Yi, she had to admit that he was quite skilled. Even if he was still a bit behind her, he should be able to deal with Wang Guanai, right? He could bring the food, he seemed like a suitable candidate. It had to be said that Wang Guanai and Song Lingshan had similar ideas this time. The crowd dispersed, but only Lin Yi stood there, seemingly utterly dazed. Wang Guanai, assuming that young people were more daring, didn't think much of it and said to Lin Yi, you student, bring me the food. You, stop looking, I'm talking to you, me. Lin Yi smiled inwardly, but pointed at himself with a look of surprise on his face. Yes, hurry up, don't waste time, Wang Guanai roared. You won't hurt me, will you? Lin Yi hesitated and asked weakly. No. Hurry up, Wang Guanai said impatiently. Okay, you said you won't hurt me, Lin Yi nodded. Song Lingshan was overjoyed and winked at Lin Yi. But Lin Yi seemed not to see her and turned around to get his lunchbox. Tang Yun didn't expect Lin Yi to be chosen by the criminals. She was a little anxious. She didn't want Lin Yi to take risks. There were so many policemen. It wouldn't be Lin Yi's turn to step forward, right? She didn't care about anything and grabbed Lin Yi's hand, a little nervous. Lin Yi, you? Oh, it's okay. Are you still not confident in my skills? Lin Yi whispered to Tang Yun. Tang Yun was slightly taken aback after hearing this. Yes, She was indeed too concerned. Lin Yi could beat a ruthless criminal like Black Panther half to death, yet he rescued her from the unfinished building unscathed. He must be quite impressive, so she didn't have anything to worry about. Besides, Black Panther, armed with a gun, hadn't posed a threat to Lin Yi at school, let alone this guy with only a knife. But if you're the hero who saved the damsel in distress, what if she becomes willing to marry you? Then Tang Yun's worries turned to something else. This was the legendary hero saving the damsel story. Wasn't that why she had a crush on him? What if Guanxin also joined in the fight? In her anxiety, Tang Yun forgot about her shyness. You can't just stand by and watch someone die, can you? Lin Yi hadn't expected Tang Yun to be so thoughtful. He squeezed her soft, slightly damp hand. So I won't save him then you should. Guanxin is actually quite kind. Even in this situation, she's still worried about the patient in the room. Regardless, Tang Yun still had great respect for Guanxin. She was a kind girl. Hey, you two are parting ways, life and death? Wait until you bring me food before you start dating. Wang Guanai saw Lin Yi and a female student kissing and whispering, and he was a little unhappy. Are you done yet? Let's talk about it after I get out. Haha, even the criminals don't want to. Lin Yi smiled. Yeah, Tang Yun said, a little embarrassed, nodding shyly. Be careful, then kiss me, and I'll be careful, Lin Yi said, smirking at her. Tang Yun was embarrassed. At this moment, this guy was still thinking about this. However, after a moment of reserve, he said, then I'll wait until you come out safely, okay, then wait for me. Lin Yi smiled, let go of Tang Yun's hand, strode towards the officer carrying the lunchbox, took the lunchbox from him, and turned to walk towards Wang Guanaya. Wang Guanaya was a little impatient. He pulled Guanxin and stepped back, leaving the door open for Lin Yi. Come in and close the door. Okay, Lin Yi hesitantly walked in with the lunchbox and closed the door. 10 seconds later, Lin Yi walked out again and ran to Tang Yun. I'm out, can you kiss me now? Although Lin Yi's voice was not loud, Song Lingshan, who was standing beside him, could still hear it clearly. She was furious at this moment. She had originally intended for Lin Yi to find an opportunity to take Wang Guanaya's knife or kill him after he went in, but Lin Yi really just gave him the lunchbox and turned around and walked out. Moreover, he came out so quickly just to let Tang Yun kiss him. Song Lingshan really didn't know how to say Lin Yi. She pointed at Lin Yi and asked, what's wrong with you? Chapter 294 The Legendary Love Triangle. What's going on? Lin Yi glanced at Song Lingshan with some displeasure. He was in the middle of a romantic relationship with Tang Yun, so why was this girl always trying to sabotage things? He glanced at her and said, can you wait a minute? Can't you see I have something important to do, an important matter? Did this guy take this as an important matter? Song Lingshan nearly fainted and wanted to kick Lin Yi. But after all, Lin Yi wasn't a police officer, so what he did was none of her business. Still, Song Lingshan couldn't help but sneer, Lin Yi, even your romantic feelings have to prioritize things, right? You really went to bring him food? Can't you find a chance to kill Wang Guanaya? Killed her. Are you done? You're sabotaging things, aren't you? Lin Yi was furious. Was this girl crazy? Guanxin was still in there, how could he let Wang Guanaya do whatever he wanted? Did he have any brains? Killed her? Song Lingshan was stunned, a little confused by what Lin Yi meant. However, at this moment, the door of the ward was completely opened, and Guanxin rushed out from inside. Seeing Lin Yi, she ran over and threw herself on Lin Yi. I'm so scared, so scared. Guanxin hugged Lin Yi tightly, tears streaming down her face. At this moment, Guanxin no longer had the stubbornness and strength she had just shown, and had become a fragile girl. Just now, she had desperately asked the police to shoot and kill Wang Guanaya because she was worried about the safety of the patients in the ward. That was a nurse's duty and a manifestation of the kindness and selflessness in human nature. But at this moment, she had become an ordinary girl. After the shock, she wanted to find a sheltered harbor to vent her grievances and heartache. Lin Yi looked at Tang Yun helplessly, and saw that she pouted and turned her head away, but did not say anything. What could Tang Yun say at this moment? Although she felt a little aggrieved and jealous, Guanxin had just been rescued from the gangster by Lin Yi, and she really needed comfort. Tang Yun was not the kind of person who is petty, so at this moment she could only pretend not to see it. However, Tang Yun was a little confused. How did Lin Yi rescue Guanxin? He entered the ward for only a dozen seconds and then came out. She thought that he rushed out to ask for a kiss from her after entering. But now it seems that this is not the case. Even though it is unbelievable, Guanxin actually ran out. There is only one possibility: the gangster was taken care of by Lin Yi. Tang Yun did not believe it, and Song Lingshan did not believe it either. None of the police officers present believed the facts before their eyes. It was too weird and too unbelievable. When Song Lingshan heard Lin Yi say "killed it," she was about to make some sarcastic remarks to him, but when she saw Guanxin running out immediately afterwards, she was stunned. She was really stunned. What was going on? Song Lingshan didn't bother to ask Lin Yi any more questions. She rushed into the ward, but what she saw left her stunned. Wang Guanai collapsed to the ground, the dagger in his hand dropped to the side. His death couldn't have been more horrific. His eyes bulged out, and his face was filled with shock and anger. He refused to accept his fate. Yes, he would die with his eyes open. The manner of his death left Song Lingshan speechless. It could be said that Wang Guanai was fatally struck by a single blow. And the murder weapon left Song Lingshan speechless and somewhat incredulous. It was a pair of disposable chopsticks, the same ones Lin Yi had brought with his lunchbox. At that moment, the chopsticks were stuck directly into Wang Guanai's chest, right at his heart. Judging by the length of the chopstick sticking out of his body, the chopstick had pierced Wang Guanai's heart, and it was likely that the chopstick had pierced Wang Guanai's heart and was about to exit through his back. Did Lin Yi do this? How did he do it? Song Lingshan was filled with questions. In just over 10 seconds, not counting the time it took to open the door and exit, he had to put down his lunchbox, launch an attack, wrestle away Wang Guanai's dagger, push Guanxin away, and finally plunge the disposable chopsticks into Wang Guanai's heart. All this in seconds? In one go? Despite her prejudice against Lin Yi, Song Lingshan was now forced to admit her admiration. It was so fast. Wang Guanai didn't even scream. He was already dead. Song Lingshan asked herself, if she were delivering the food, could she do it just as quickly? And without harming the hostages? She wanted to say, I can do it too, but she hesitated. Shaking her head, Song Lingshan ignored Wang Guanai's body for the moment and scurried towards Liu Bojia's bed, which was now stained with blood. Wang Guanai had stabbed him several times in the abdomen, and the blood was flowing profusely. Call a doctor, Song Lingshan yelled to Liu Wangli, who had rushed in after her. Yes, Liu Wangli was equally astonished by Lin Yi's prowess, but even more so, he was baffled. Wasn't Lin Yi Captain Song's boyfriend? Why was he kissing another beautiful female student in front of Captain Song? Was he in the middle of one of those legendary love triangles? No wonder Captain Song was so grumpy, glaring at Lin Yi. Even with this in mind, Liu Wangli didn't pause. He reached the door and began calling for a doctor. In reality, the doctors and nurses had already been alerted by the police and were waiting nearby. Now that the matter was settled, they all rushed over. Wang Guanai and Song Lingshan didn't even consider rescuing him. There was no point in trying, he was definitely dead. And whether Wang Guanai was dead or alive was of no use to Song Lingshan. This guy was a pervert, unyielding. Besides his disgusting words, he wouldn't yield a single useful morsel. As long as Liu Bojio is alright, that would be the key to a breakthrough in the case. Several doctors and nurses wheeled Liu Bojia to the operating room. In the ward, the remaining police officers began to process the scene and collect the body. Ahem, Tang Yun couldn't help it any longer. Hugging him couldn't go on forever, right? He was right in front of her. What was he trying to do? He hadn't done anything yet, and he was already fickle? Guanxin came back to her senses when she heard Tang Yun's cough, and she realized that she had actually been hugging Lin Yi tightly. She let go of his hand a little embarrassedly. It was just her instinct. Lin Yi saved her, and she subconsciously thought that Lin Yi's arms were her safe haven. She didn't think much about it. However, Guanxin felt a little embarrassed to hug Lin Yi in front of his girlfriend. I'm sorry, Tang Yun, I was just too nervous. I borrowed your boyfriend for a while. Guanxin smiled apologetically at Tang Yun. She didn't mean to argue with Guanxin. Especially knowing that Lin Yi was a student of number 1 high school, so she suppressed the throbbing in her heart. Chapter 295 Sending back and forth. The difference between the two was too great. Although they were of similar age, their statuses were so different that it was impossible for them to be together. On the contrary, Tang Yun was his perfect match. If they had been admitted to the same university, they would have had a brighter future. Guanxin sighed softly, feeling a little disappointed. For the first time, she had been attracted to a man, but he wasn't hers. "He's not my boyfriend," Tang Yun said, feeling a little embarrassed at Guanxin's apology. Guanxin smiled. Lin Yi's girlfriend was quite interesting. Tang Yun felt a little embarrassed by Guanxin's smile. "Sister Guanxin, what are you laughing at? If he's not your boyfriend, then he's not. If you like him, just take him. If he's not your boyfriend, how can you decide to give him to me?" Guanxin couldn't help but tease Tang Yun. Guanxin was, in fact, just a young girl, inexperienced in the world. At home, in the hospital, and among her friends, she was still a child. But around Tang Yun, who was 2 years younger than her, she naturally took on a somewhat older sisterly air, appearing more mature. Tang Yun was stunned. Yet, he wasn't her boyfriend, so why should she be sent around? Lin Yi stood by with a wry smile. He wasn't a commodity either? How could he be sent around? "Miss Guanxin, right? Could you please give us a statement?" Song Lingshan walked over and frowned slightly at Guanxin, who had just gotten off Lin Yi. Was this beautiful nurse also related to Lin Yi? "Are you okay?" Lin Yi turned away. "Didn't you see that idiot hurt her neck, idiot?" Song Lingshan was stunned and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Only Lin Yi could call Wang Guanaya an idiot. The man who made her feel like she was facing a formidable enemy was just an idiot in Lin Yi's eyes. However, Song Lingshan couldn't say anything. After all, Lin Yi had dispatched Wang Guanaya in seconds. In front of Lin Yi, he really was just an idiot. However, Lin Yi's words were a bit hard to hear. What did he mean by not out of his mind? This guy had asked her if she was okay more than once. He shouldn't be so insulting, could he? "Lin Yi, what did you say?" Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi. "You have to come back with me and give a statement. You killed someone, do you know that?" "I was acting bravely, okay," Lin Yi shrugged. "And you told me to kill him. When did I tell you to kill him?" Song Lingshan asked back. "You didn't tell me to kill him, so why are you asking me if I can find a chance to kill Wang Guanaya?" Lin Yi curled his lips, unwilling to argue with Song Lingshan about such meaningless things, but this tiger girl was endless, and Lin Yi had to deal with it. Song Lingshan was furious. "I only asked that after the fact." "Oh, you asked that after the fact, which means you also wanted me to kill him beforehand," Lin Yi said. "Otherwise, why were you winking at me? Are your eyesight broken? Or are you expressionless?" Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi, like a tigress, wanting to eat Lin Yi. However, she suffered losses in front of him time and time again, and Song Lingshan really wondered if he was her nemesis. Liu Wangli watched the exasperated Song Lingshan from afar, then glanced at Guanxin, who had a close relationship with Lin Yi. He wondered if a love triangle wasn't enough, and now a love quadrilateral had emerged. "Alright, stop it. You owe me another favor. I'll see you register your car this afternoon." "Wait for me," Lin Yi said, then turned away from Song Lingshan and said to Guanxin, "Go put some medicine on your neck. There's blood." Yeah, Guanxin, a nurse herself, knew the severity of her injury. It was just a scratch, nothing serious. After applying the medicine, Guanxin was taken away by the police for a statement. As for Lin Yi, Song Lingshan hesitated for a long time, but couldn't make up her mind to go back and take his statement. After all, wasn't he supposed to register her car this afternoon? She could just take the statement then. On the way back to Zia Efton's ward, Lin Yi reached out to grab Tang Yun's hand, but she shyly shook it off. "When will you do that?" Lin Yi asked with a grin. "Promise what?" Tang Yun was slightly taken aback. "Kiss me," Lin Yi said. "Maybe next time." Tang Yun rolled her eyes at Lin Yi. What little courage she had in her heart had long been shattered by Guanxin's incident. How could she muster the courage to kiss Lin Yi? "Then I'll kiss you." Lin Yi naturally understood why Tang Yun had been so sullen the entire way. "Go to hell," Tang Yun naturally wouldn't agree. How? Lin Yi didn't rush and walked into the ward with Tang Yun. He checked the time and saw it was almost time for afternoon classes. Kang Xiaobo was saying goodbye to Zia Efan. Zia Efan hadn't made a final decision about accompanying Kang Xiaobo to his family banquet this weekend and needed to think it over. Kang Xiaobo didn't rush her, simply asking her to give him an answer after she'd thought it over. The four of them left the hospital together and hailed a taxi at the entrance. Lin Yi got out near the villa complex. He had already told Kang Xiaobo and Tang Yun that he was going to register his license plate that afternoon. Lin Yi's skipping classes had become so commonplace that no one cared. Tang Yun had no solution. Young Master Lin was simply such a student, expecting him to stay quietly in school and study was impossible. Lin Yi drove his unlicensed, shabby van all the way to the Criminal Investigation Division of the Songshan City Police Department. Fortunately, he didn't encounter any traffic police, otherwise he would have called Song Lingshan again. Song Lingshan sat in her office, feeling a bit upset. Despite all efforts to save Liu Bojia, he was still in critical condition and was on a ventilator, with no idea when he would wake up. The clues that had finally emerged in the case of the psychopathic murderer and his family were about to be cut short. Song Lingshan was under immense pressure, wondering if she was really up to the task. When Lin Yi arrived, Song Lingshan didn't offer any sarcastic remarks. She didn't dare offend Lin Yi too much. Previously, solving cases relied on Yang Huaijin, but now it was largely Lin Yi. Song Lingshan wondered why she was so useless. Could she solve a case without relying on others? It was a conflicting feeling, but despite this thought, she felt helpless. After writing down the chassis and engine numbers of the wrecked van, Song Lingshan called the vehicle management office and found out about it. The van's current registered owner was a used car dealer. After a quick call, Song Lingshan confirmed that the van wasn't stolen. Black Panther had purchased it some time ago specifically for the purpose of committing a crime. He paid 10,000 yuan for it, drove it off, and agreed with the dealership to transfer ownership in a few days. Chapter 296, An Appointment in the Evening. As a result, the car dealership owner waited for several days, but Black Panther did not show up to transfer the ownership. He called the phone number Black Panther left behind, but it was also turned off. After hearing what the boss said, Song Lingshan was too lazy to explain and asked him to come directly to the city police station and accompany Lin Yi to the vehicle management office to transfer the ownership. As long as the car was not a stolen car, Song Lingshan was too lazy to care where Lin Yi got it from. Okay, your business is done, can you add to the transcript? Song Lingshan took out the transcript book and prepared to take Lin Yi's statement. Forget the transcript, just make one up yourself. Anyway, all the credit is yours, and I don't want any of it, Lin Yi said. No, Song Lingshan flatly refused. This time, Lin Yi killed Wang Guanai in full view of everyone. How could the credit be returned to him? What would others say? Wait, I'll make a call. Lin Yi didn't bother to answer her. He dialed Yang Huaijin's number directly, exchanged a few words, and handed the phone to Song Lingshan. Listen. Song Lingshan took Lin Yi's call and heard Yang Huaijin's voice. Although she was a little unhappy with Yang Huaijin's order, she still responded submissively. Got it, Director Yang. Song Lingshan frowned and handed the phone back to Lin Yi. What was this guy's relationship with Yang Huaijin? Yang Huaijin, always selfless, had seen his image shattered in Song Lingshan's eyes since he became involved with Lin Yi. Okay, you can go now, Song Lingshan said flatly. Since Yang Huaijin said that this achievement was his, then it was his. The people in the criminal police team were all Yang Huaijin's old subordinates. When Yang Huaijin spoke, no one would object. If you want to be so businesslike next time, don't come to me. Lin Yi was also a little angry. He was acting as a guest agent and was not paid, and you still had this attitude? Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi but said nothing. But she thought to herself, what are you so arrogant about? Do you think you're invincible? Next time there's something you can't solve, I'll show you how I'll mock you. For now, I'll just bear with it. Lin Yi didn't insist that Song Lingshan express her opinion. To him, it didn't matter whether she expressed it or not. Leaving the police station, Lin Yi saw a portly, big-eared man looking around at the door. Mr. Wang, Lin Yi asked as he approached. Yes, it's me, Wang Mingri greeted him with a beaming smile. Are you Captain Song's friend? Shall we go transfer the ownership now? Oh, let's go. Thank you, Mr. Wang, Lin Yi nodded. Although Wang Mingri saw that Lin Yi wasn't the one who bought the car that day, since Captain Song from the criminal investigation team had called, he figured he was a good person. Captain Song wouldn't have conned him out of a 10,000 yuan car, so without even asking any questions, Wang Mingri went to the vehicle administration office to transfer the ownership for Lin Yi. Before leaving, he gave Lin Yi a business card and told him to call him directly if he wanted to buy a car in the future. He knew someone who could help him, whether it was a new or old car. Lin Yi thanked him, put the card away, and prepared to drive to school. After all, the old car was now Lin Yi's private property, so he could drive it to and from school every day without asking Chu Mengyao for permission. Before he even reached school, Lin Yi's phone rang. He pulled it out and saw it was Guan Zuman's number. "Grandpa Guan," Lin Yi quickly answered the call. "Xiaoi? What are you busy with?" Guan Zuman's voice came from the other end. "Nothing, I'm just about to drive to school." "Grandpa Guan, is there anything I can do?" Lin Yi asked. "Are you free tonight? My granddaughter's on vacation tomorrow. When she comes back, I'll have her cook a few dishes and we can have a couple of drinks." Guan Zuman hadn't discussed medical matters with Lin Yi in a long time, and he couldn't help himself. He didn't call Lin Yi, and Lin Yi didn't come to visit either. Guan Zuman had no choice but to shamelessly call Lin Yi. "In the evening?" "That's fine." Lin Yi was just about to discuss the idea of establishing a pharmaceutical company with Guan Zuman, but he just hadn't made the time. Since Guan Zuman had already called today, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't refuse. "It's settled then. I'll be waiting for you at home on time." Guan Zuman was very happy to hear Lin Yi agreed to visit. "No problem, I'll bother you on time," Lin Yi smiled. After hanging up the phone with Lin Yi, Guan Zuman called his granddaughter Guan Xin. Guan Xin had just finished taking her statement and was given a few days off by the dean to go back and rest. Guan Xin's words, "Don't worry about me, just shoot." The patient in the ward was stabbed by him. If he's not rescued, his life will be in danger, had spread throughout the hospital, and even the news media came to interview him. Dean Qin was very happy, and his face was full of smiles when he faced the reporters who came to interview him. Nowadays, many reporters like to report negatively on the hospital, which annoyed Dean Qin very much. However, this time, when Guan Xin's incident happened, Dean Qin stood firm. "Who dares to speak ill of our hospital? Our nurses are the best." When faced with life-threatening situations, they prioritize the patient's safety over their own. Of course, no one knows the details of Wang Guanai's assassination, as only the police were present at the scene. Others, standing at a distance, could only hear Guan Xin's cries, but they had no idea that Lin Yi had killed Wang Guanai. Because Guan Zuman and Guan Xin's father were shareholders in the hospital, Director Qin wanted to take care of Guan Xin, but he couldn't find a good reason. Promoting someone requires convincing others, right? This time, however, he's making an exception to promote Guan Xin, and no one will object. With such an outstanding nurse, who else could he promote? While giving Guan Xin a day off, Director Qin has already decided to hold a meeting of the hospital leadership this afternoon to discuss personnel changes for her. Isn't the old head nurse in the inpatient department retiring? First, promote Guan Xin to deputy head nurse, and then wait for her to take over. Whether Guan Xin can achieve greater success in the future depends on her own efforts. Guan Xin had just left the hospital and was about to go home when her cell phone rang. She took it out and saw that it was a call from home. Guan Xin was stunned. Did her grandfather know that she was injured? Guan Xin frowned and secretly cursed a leader in the hospital who leaked the information as a big mouth and a flatterer. She was afraid that her grandfather would worry, so she asked Dean Qin not to tell her father and grandfather about this matter. But why did her grandfather call so quickly? "Grandpa," Guan Xin answered the phone and called him uncertainly. "Xingxin, are you taking a day off tomorrow?" Guan Zuman asked with a smile. "Yeah, what's wrong?" Guan Xin was slightly stunned. From her grandfather's tone, it seemed that he didn't know what had happened in the hospital before. Guan Xin was relieved. Chapter 297 Guan Xin's thoughts. "In a moment, you and Lao Qin should ask for leave and go home early," Guan Zuman said with a smile. "Go home early? What's the matter?" Guan Xin was stunned. It seemed that her grandfather really didn't know what happened to him, nor did he know that he had been sent home on leave. "In the evening, a friend is coming. It's the young talent I told you about. He is very skilled in medicine at a young age," Guan Zuman said with a smile. "I want to introduce you to each other. The young man is not very old, about the same age as you. You should have something in common." Oh, Guan Xin lost interest when she heard that it was this matter. In her mind, the shadow of Lin Yi unconsciously emerged again. Guan Zuman didn't see Guan Xin's expression. When he heard her respond, he thought she was shy, so he said, "Then it's settled. When you come back, let Liu Ma accompany you to buy some vegetables, and cook a few of your specialties in the evening to leave a good impression on others." Liu Ma is the nanny of Guan Zuman's family. She is usually responsible for taking care of Guan Zuman's life and cooking and buying groceries. Guan Xin was somewhat reluctant, But since the other party was someone her grandfather admired, she couldn't deny him face. She could get to know him, but a deeper relationship was out of the question. Pengzhan wasn't thinking about that at the moment. Lin Yi parked his car at the snack street behind the school. As soon as he got out of the car, a man with a menacing face walked towards him. "Hey, kid, don't park here. School's almost over, and we need to set up a stall here." The man with a menacing face was a stinky tofu vendor at the snack street, and the spot where Lin Yi parked his car was his younger brother's stall. His younger brother wasn't around yet, so he naturally couldn't let anyone else take his spot. Lin Yi frowned. He didn't expect there would be so much to say about parking. Was this a snack street? The traffic police hadn't even said parking was prohibited there, yet someone was causing trouble. When Lin Yi looked up, the menacing man was startled. Oh my god, he was in trouble. Lin, it's okay. You can park here. It's okay, it's okay. The ferocious man saw it clearly that night. He knew how Lin Yi dealt with Zhang Baigan. How could he dare to provoke such a person? Lin Yi shook his head, feeling a little funny. He was so ferocious just now, but now his face changed. Then I will park here? I will park here every day from now on, no problem. Mr. Lin, I'll let my brother change the spot. How can it affect your parking? Don't worry, I will help you watch the car and make sure no one dares to scratch your car. The ferocious man patted his chest and promised. It's okay for the brother to change the spot to set up the stall. But if he annoyed Lin Yi, it would be a big deal. Back to the class, he could just catch the last evening's self-study class. Seeing Lin Yi coming back, Kang Xiaobo immediately came over. Boss, you are back. I want to tell you something. Talk about something? What is it? Tell me. Lin Yi looked at Kang Xiaobo, not knowing what he wanted. Can you lend me 200 yuan? Kang Xiaobo asked a little embarrassedly. 200 yuan? What are you going to do with it? You don't even have 200 yuan. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Hey, I spent a little too much of my allowance this month. I kept visiting Xiaofen and bought a lot of snacks. Kang Xiaobo said awkwardly, it's the end of the month now. I'm out of money. I'll pay you back next month when I get my allowance. Oh, no thanks. Take it. Lin Yi gave Kang Xiaobo 200 yuan. He still had some money. I was thinking of buying Xiaofen a cheaper phone. 200 yuan should be enough, Kang Xiaobo said. Otherwise, it would be inconvenient to contact her. Lin Yi smiled. You can keep the 200 yuan. I'll pay for the phone. If you're giving someone a gift, you should buy them something decent. You can't just buy them 200 yuan, right? Thank you very much, boss. I'm not polite. When I get rich, I'll repay you. Kang Xiaobo didn't refuse and took it directly. I also want to buy a mobile phone, and buy one for Tang Yun as well, Lin Yi said. Let's go to the mobile phone store together tomorrow at noon, okay? By the way, boss, can you lend me your mobile phone again? Kang Xiaobo said in a low voice. What do you want to see? Chen Yushu or Chu Mengyao? Lin Yi gave this guy a slap in the face. You already have Xiaofen, so don't think too much. You figured it out, Kang Xiaobo said a little embarrassedly. It's just to feast your eyes. The three most beautiful girls in the school are not my cup of tea. Tang Yun is the eldest sister-in-law now, so I dare not look at them randomly. I can only appreciate these two beauties who have no owner. Study hard. Lin Yi smiled helplessly. I won't show it to you, okay, I won't look at it anymore. Kang Xiaobo was a little discouraged. Tell the truth, boss, whose phone is this? Why does it look like a girl's? Can you reveal it? And the beetle car last time, you said it wasn't yours, but it looks like a girl's to me. Since you want to know so much, I'll tell you. Lin Yi glanced at Kang Xiaobo and said, the car and the phone are actually Chen Yushu's. She and I have been living together. Kang Xiaobo was stunned, and then he said Disk, if you don't want to say it, then don't say it. I won't stop asking. Lin Yi shrugged. Often, the truth wasn't believed, but it was also a good way to solve the problem once and for all. Kang Xiaobo wouldn't ask about this again, and even if he found out, he hadn't lied to him. He was already living with Chen Yushu, and, yes, Chu Mengyao. But, to be more precise, they were sharing a house. After school that evening, Lin Yi sent Chu Mengyao a text, saying he had something to do and would be home a little late. Chu Mengyao was used to these kinds of messages. He'd hired this guy, so why was he being so frivolous? Pengzhan felt a little helpless at her grandfather's praise. If that boy was so good, why didn't he adopt him as a godson or something? Why did he want me to spend more time with him? Guanxin already had someone in her heart, so how could she possibly accept someone else at this point? However, she couldn't bring herself to tell her grandfather about this, so she could only agree, somewhat unhappily, and went to the kitchen. Let me focus on cooking. Why? If I cook delicious food, what if he falls for me? Would that just be asking for trouble? Guanxin thought, why not cook it a little worse, so he'll have a taste of it once and never want it again? Yeah, that's right, that's it. Most men are very concerned about their girlfriend's cooking skills. I'll cook something that can poison him and see if he dares to take the next step in the relationship. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298 Guanxin's Selfishness. Guanxin was born into a family of doctors and scholars. Today, the Guan family rivals even some of the larger clans, yet Guanxin has shunned the trappings of wealthy daughters. Her parents were busy with work. Although her father was a hospital shareholder, his company was out of town, and she and her mother rarely returned home. Having lived with her grandfather since childhood, Guanxin learned housework, laundry, and cooking from a young age. She kept the household in perfect order. Despite the presence of a nanny, Liu Ma, Guanxin always helped her with her duties whenever she returned home, never idle. Her cooking skills were truly exceptional, earning her the nickname the universe's ultimate little chef. Anything Guanxin cooked would draw her grandfather's old friends, brazenly vying for a share. Her refined manner, both in the living room and in the kitchen, naturally made her the envy of the boys her age in the medical school's family quarters. However, the Guan family's strict upbringing, which prohibited romantic relationships before graduation, kept any potential admirers away. However, Guanxin did enter the workforce upon graduation. However, Guanxin's fame grew, and the old friends who had come to visit him for in-laws were less and less likely to bring up the matter. Guanxin's reputation was now on par with those of the larger families. Whether Guanxin would marry into a wealthy family was unknown, but her devotion to her husband and mother made her a prime candidate. The fewer marriage proposals, Guanxin felt relieved. Having just graduated and a relatively unsuccessful career, she had no desire for a romantic relationship. But even if she hadn't felt the urge, sometimes love struck, and it couldn't be stopped. When Guanxin developed feelings for Lin Yi, she felt a bit bewildered and incredulous. It was her first time ever to develop feelings for a boy, and she had even considered her sexual orientation problematic. Perhaps it was her delayed psychological development? Guanxin consoled herself, but she felt that there seemed to be no future between her and Lin Yi. Despite her fantasies, reality was reality. When she first saw Tang Yun, Guanxin chose to escape. However, after escaping, she couldn't help but want to see Lin Yi again. This was a somewhat contradictory mentality. She knew it was impossible, but she still wanted to see him. It was like a moth to a flame, a little impulsive and irrational, but she couldn't control it. Xixing, do you want Liu Ma to help? Liu Ma's voice rang out from outside the kitchen. Liu Ma cleaned up the house and came to the kitchen to help Guanxin. No, I can do it myself. Guanxin flatly refused Liu Ma's help, but she absolutely couldn't let Liu Ma come over, otherwise her cooking secret would be seen by Liu Ma, and she would definitely stop her from doing anything wrong. When Liu Ma heard Guanxin's refusal, she didn't think much about it. She also knew that Grandpa Guan was going to introduce a young talent to Guanxin tonight. She thought Guanxin was attracted and wanted to show off her invincible cooking skills. If someone helped her, how could Guanxin, the super invincible little chef in the universe, appear? I have to say that Guanxin's cooking skills are quite good. Even though the seasonings are mixed up, the unpalatable dishes with no color, fragrance or taste are served on the table one after another. If you don't taste it, just looking at the appearance, it will definitely make people salivate. Both the color and the fragrance are excellent. But after tasting it, you will find that each dish is either too salty, too sour, or too sweet. In short, no dish has a normal taste. Before serving, Guanxin will randomly add a seasoning to each dish before serving. Guanxin was very happy when he saw Guanxin busying around. Such a virtuous, beautiful, gentle, and well-educated granddaughter should make Lin Yi linger, right? When the time comes, come to his house more often, and all his medical problems will be answered one by one. If he can be his grandson-in-law, the Guan family can be guaranteed to prosper for 100 years. Although the Guan family's current status rivaled that of several major clans, with even the heads of these clans treating them with respect, Guan Zuman knew this was all because of him. He was the miracle Dr. Guan, and that's why they elevated the Guan family's status. Everyone will eventually grow old, get sick, and die, but knowing a miracle doctor is like having a lifeline, which explains the Guan family's rapid rise in status in recent years. However, if Guan Zuman were to be gone, the Guan family's status would plummet. Without their miracle doctor, the Guan family would be no different from any other small clan. Although Guan Zuman wasn't one to care about fame or fortune, he had to make plans for his children and grandchildren. This was especially concerning for his granddaughter, and finding her a good home was a preoccupation for him. Seeing Lin Yi reminded him of Guan Zin. If his granddaughter could truly be with Lin Yi, the Guan family's reputation wouldn't decline with his passing, it would actually rise. Guan Zuman knew full well that he wasn't a miracle doctor. Lin Yi was the one. And 20 years ago, the miracle doctor he met was a true miracle doctor. The eldest son's family had settled in Yanjing and lived a prosperous life. The younger son and his wife were busy with business in another city, leaving only their daughter, Guan Zin, at their side. Guan Zuman had no particular concerns about his two sons' well-being. The eldest son had no special talents, but thanks to Guan Zuman's connections, he had made a considerable fortune over the years, enough for his family to live on for the rest of their lives. Guan Zuman had no fondness for his eldest son. After experiencing the life of high society, he was reluctant to return to the small town of Songshan, returning only once during the holidays, much to Guan Zuman's disappointment. The younger son, on the other hand, returned frequently and was a man of integrity, if a little old-fashioned. He operated on his own merits and never mentioned Guan Zuman's name outside. Without connections and support, the younger son's personality would undoubtedly have suffered in society. However, he was fortunate to have met a benefactor early in his life, a legendary figure with extraordinary connections and influence. Sadly, this person, like the miracle doctor who had mentored Guan Zuman, vanished from everyone's sight the same year, becoming nothing more than a legend. Xixing, there's no need to cook so many dishes. Just enough to eat will do, Guan Zuman wondered as he watched his granddaughter busily prepare a table full of delicious food. Had she truly grown up? Was she even concerned about her own life? Was she ready to show off in front of this talented young man? Oh, it's almost done. There's also a sweet and sour carp, ready to be served. Guan Zin smiled, but she was thinking to herself, sweet and sour carp? I'll let that talented young man try some sweet and sour mustard fish. Chapter 299 Why not eat instant noodles? Although his youngest son had received guidance from a benefactor and his business was now flourishing, Guan Zuman regretted that there was no one in the family who studied medicine. His granddaughter's delicate nature meant she was destined to be a nurse, and she wasn't cut out for medical studies. So, while Guan Zuman felt regretful, he also yearned for someone to inherit his legacy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so surprised to see Lin Yi in the bookstore and wanted to take him in as his last disciple. But now, Guan Zuman no longer had that thought. His medical skills weren't even a third as good as Lin Yi's, so what was there to teach? It wasn't even certain who was whose teacher. Regardless, Guan Zuman had hope. Ding-ling, the doorbell rang. Lin Yi parked his car in front of Guan Zuman's villa and rang the doorbell. Guan Zuman was delighted when he heard the bell, quickly standing up and waving to Aunt Liu, who was about to open the door. He would open it himself. Guan Zuman didn't dare to be overly arrogant with Lin Yi. There was no limit to the number of learned people, the most accomplished were those who came first. Lin Yi was more skilled than he was, so that was incredible. Xiao Yi, you're here, Guan Zuman said happily when he opened the door and saw Lin Yi. Hey, Grandpa Guan, hello. I just came here after school and I don't have any gifts. Please don't be offended. Lin Yi smiled and spread his empty hands. Others who came to Guan Zuman's house all brought gifts, but Lin Yi came with nothing. What gifts? Guan Zuman was amused by Lin Yi's words. I'm so happy that you can come. I finally had the nerve to call you and ask you to come and have a drink with me. If you keep being so polite, I won't dare to call you again in the future even if I have the nerve to do it. Okay, then I'll come here to eat and drink whenever I have time, Lin Yi said with a smile. That's right, Guan Zuman nodded as a matter of course. Guanxin walked out of the kitchen with sweet and sour mustard fish. Suddenly, she heard someone at the door brazenly saying that they would come to her house to eat and drink whenever they had time. She was immediately a little unhappy. Who are you? You're here to eat and drink for free? You really don't consider yourself an outsider? Well, since you're here to eat, I'll let you eat as much as you can and see if you dare to come again next time. This feast of sweet, sour, bitter, spicy and numbing flavors tonight will surely be fresh in your memory. But, that voice seems a little familiar. Has he been to my house before? Guanxin frowned, not paying much attention. Just as she was about to put the mustard fish in her hand on the table, she looked up and was stunned. She almost dropped the mustard fish in her hand on the ground. Lin Yi, Guanxin's eyes widened, looking at the person who came to her house in disbelief. How could this person who wanted to eat and drink for free often in the future be him? Guanxin, Lin Yi was also stunned. Why was Guanxin here? Suddenly, he remembered what Guanxuman said about his granddaughter. Could Guanxin be Guanxuman's granddaughter? They both had the surname Guan. So that's it, are you Grandpa Guan's granddaughter? Are you the young talent Grandpa was talking about? Guanxin blushed a little. How could he be the young talent Grandpa was talking about? Did he have a girlfriend? Why did Grandpa introduce him to her? For a moment, Guanxin was overwhelmed with emotions and felt a little helpless. The good impression she had wanted to hide in her heart suddenly came out again, and she lowered her head shyly. Young talent, Lin Yi was stunned by the title, then smiled bitterly and said, not really a young talent, but young and promising can barely be called that. Boasting Guanxin couldn't help but pursed her lips and smiled. How could there be such an immodest person? Aren't young talents and young and promising almost the same? It was really like Wang Po selling melons and boasting about herself. Zai, do you know Xixing? Guanxuman was afraid that his granddaughter would resist, but when he saw her expression, he understood what was going on. It seemed that the two had known each other for a long time, so he was a little worried. I know him, I just met him today, Lin Yi nodded. Oh? We just met today? It looks like we are very familiar with each other. After hearing what Lin Yi said, Guanxuman said, that saves me the trouble of introducing you. Since you and Xixing know each other, it will be easier. Forget about the introductions and let's eat quickly. I'm an old man and I've been hungry for a long time. I eat early every day, but today I waited until now just to wait for you. Oh, okay. Then I won't be polite. Lin Yi smiled and looked at Guanxin. What a coincidence, it turns out that I want to try your cooking skills today. Ah, Guanxin was startled and was about to run to the kitchen with a mustard fish in her hand. She never thought that the young talent her grandfather was talking about would be Lin Yi. If she had known earlier, why would she make these weird delicacies? If she had known earlier, she would definitely prepare it carefully and use all her skills to make this dinner. Guanxin felt a little regretful. If Lin Yi ate the feast she prepared, she was afraid that he would never come again next time. What should she do? Thinking of this, Guanxin wanted to throw away all the dishes on the table and cook them again. Xixing, what are you doing? Why are you taking the fish away? Grandpa loves sweet and sour fish the most. Bring it here quickly. Grandpa can't wait any longer. Guanxuman waved his hand and said to Guanxin, I'm going to put the dishes back in the pot. These dishes are cold. I'm going to put them back in the pot, Guanxin said, and wanted to grab the other dishes on the table. Anyway, she would take them to the kitchen and throw them away and cook them again. There were still some ingredients left, so she could cook as much as she could. Put them back in the pot? What pot? It's not cold, it's still steaming. Stop it, put it down quickly. Guanxuman was confused by Guanxin. What was she doing? Oh, Guanxin had no choice but to put the dish and sweet and sour fish in her hand on the table reluctantly. Okay, Xixing, sit down too and eat together. Guanxuman couldn't wait to open a bottle of magnate, poured a glass for Lin Yi, and poured himself a glass. Okay, although Guanxin was reluctant, she had no choice but to sit down with a sad face. Oh, I've heard from Grandpa Guan that you are a good cook. The color of the dishes on the table makes them look tempting and delicious. Let me try it and see how it tastes. Lin Yi picked up the chopsticks with a smile. Oh, Grandpa, I have a good idea. How about we eat instant noodles? It's delicious to eat instant noodles with alcohol. What do you think? Guanxin suddenly stood up. I haven't eaten it for a long time. Instant noodles are delicious. Let's throw away all these dishes, Xixing. Guanxuman was a little angry. Why did his granddaughter become a little abnormal since she saw Lin Yi? Could it be that the relationship between the two was not what he imagined, that Guanxin had a good impression of Lin Yi, but that there was a contradiction? Otherwise, why would the granddaughter want to throw away the dishes and eat instant noodles? Chapter 300, Very Tasty. Xixing, what are you doing? With so many delicious dishes, why are you eating instant noodles? Guanxin was really angry. Lin Yi was the guest he invited. Even if you knew each other or had any conflicts, you couldn't do this, right? No. Guanxin stuck out her tongue a little embarrassedly. Lin Yi, do you want to eat instant noodles? Me? It's okay. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Why did Guanxin keep asking him to eat instant noodles? It was not easy to offend her, so he responded casually. That's great. I like it too. I'll go make 2 buckets. Guanxin was a little happy to hear Lin Yi's answer. I'll go now. Guanxin, you sit there. Guanxin was angry. He didn't even call her Xixing and called Guanxin's full name directly. Oh, Guanxin felt a little aggrieved, but couldn't tell the real reason, so she could only sit down depressed. If I had known, I would not have cooked the food so badly. Even if it was just ordinary and casual, without much effort, it would still be delicious. Oh, I haven't eaten instant noodles for a long time. I kind of miss the taste. Lin Yi smiled. Grandpa Guan, don't be angry. Guanxin is just too enthusiastic. Guanxin looked at Lin Yi with some gratitude. She was about to poison him to death, but he still comforted her. What a good man. Yes, if he was not a good man, he would not have blocked a bullet for herself, and he would not have risked his life to save herself today. Girls in their prime always like to fantasize. Having a Prince Charming who is willing to guard them is the wish of all girls of this age. Obviously, Lin Yi is not as good as she thought, but Guanxin took the initiative to turn Lin Yi into perfect Prince Charming. In fact, it was very simple for Lin Yi to block the gun. No matter who was behind him, he did not want to hurt innocent people. Going to rescue Guanxin today, even if the person being held hostage wasn't Guanxin, if it was anyone Lin Yi knew, Lin Yi would have taken action. Furthermore, if Guanxin knew that Lin Yi had acted so quickly in exchange for a kiss from Tang Yun, how would she feel? Seeing his granddaughter's grateful look at Lin Yi, Guanxin was even more surprised. It didn't seem like there was a conflict between the two of them. So what was their relationship? Why was Xixing acting so strangely today? And Lin Yi was actually cooperating? Okay, let's not talk so much. Since you are familiar with it, let's eat it. I'll go first. Guanxin picked up a piece of sweet and sour fish with chopsticks. Guanxin wanted to stop him, but it was too late. She could only wait to be scolded by her grandfather with a bitter face. Well, the fish is very tender, not bad. Guanxin widened his eyes and spit out the fish in his mouth. Then he opened his mouth and kept gasping. What did you put in it? Oh my life. When the fish just entered his mouth, Guanxin thought the fish was soft and delicious, but the next moment, he felt a spicy taste rushing into his nose, and tears almost burst out. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Guanxin hurriedly took a bottle of mineral water and handed it to Guanxin. Before, I accidentally knocked over the mustard. Guanxin drank a sip of water and finally caught his breath. Then why did you bring it up? Aren't you killing your grandfather? I said before that I wanted to put it back into the pot, Grandpa, but you didn't let me, Guanxin said carefully. Alright. Forget it. I'll skip the sweet and sour fish. Let Auntie Liu take it away. We'll have something else. Guanxin waved his hand helplessly and said, Zai, I'm sorry to have made a fool of myself. Come, let's eat something else. Xixing isn't usually like this. Maybe she heard a young talent like you is coming today, so she was a little clumsy. But her cooking is pretty good. Want to try it? Lin Yi looked at the sweet and sour fish that Auntie Liu had taken away with a strange look. Did she spill the mustard? Unable to refuse the kindness, Lin Yi picked up his chopsticks and picked up a piece of the stir-fried pork and bamboo shoots in front of him. Just as he was about to eat, Guanxin said, Wait a minute. Lin Yi turned to look at Guanxin. Let's have instant noodles, Guanxin said weakly. Huh? Lin Yi had almost figured it out by now and stuffed the bamboo shoots on his chopsticks into his mouth. It was quite salty. Lin Yi picked up a few more dishes that were closer to him and tasted them. They were either too sweet or too spicy. In short, none of them were appetizing. How is it? Not bad, right? Guan Zuman was smugly waiting for Lin Yi's praise. As long as he could keep Lin Yi's appetite engaged, he wouldn't be afraid of Lin Yi stopping by to discuss medical matters. Not bad, Lin Yi said with a wry smile. Huh? Guan Zuman was slightly taken aback. Wasn't Lin Yi's demands too high? Just okay? After all his old friends raved about his granddaughter Xixing's cooking. Even their children and grandchildren shamelessly tried to get a free meal. His granddaughter was known in the family compound as the universe's most invincible little cooking god. However, since it was Lin Yi who said it, Guan Zuman couldn't argue with him. After all, Lin Yi was actually his teacher now. Haha, Zai, you have quite a taste. I, an old man, already think it's good, Guan Zuman said, and went to eat something else. Exquisite taste? This is even more expensive? Lin Yi smiled wryly. He had made a big decision to say it was okay, and he had said something against his will. Poof! Guan Zuman also took a bite of the bamboo shoots and fried pork, and spat it out directly. He quickly drank another sip of water before saying, Xixing, did you beat the salt cellar to death? Guan Zin lowered her head in embarrassment and didn't dare to look at her grandfather and Lin Yi. Today was really too embarrassing. Guan Zuman quickly tasted a few other dishes with chopsticks. After spitting it out again, Guan Zuman finally understood that Lin Yi's words "not bad" were already a compliment to today's meal. Today's meal can no longer be described as unpalatable, it can be said to be extremely unpalatable. Xixing, what's wrong with this meal? Guan Zuman widened his eyes. You don't usually taste like this. Hey Grandpa Guan, maybe Xixing was frightened today. Lin Yi wanted to comfort Guan Zin, but was interrupted by Guan Zin. Guan Zin didn't want her grandfather to know what happened in the hospital today, as it would make him worry. So she interrupted Lin Yi and told him her true intention. Grandpa, I'm sorry. Actually, I did it on purpose. On purpose? You made the food so unpalatable on purpose? What's going on? Guan Zuman was stunned. He didn't expect Guan Zin to say that. I heard from Grandpa that some young talent was coming today and that he wanted me to get to know him. I didn't want to. So I deliberately made the food a little unpalatable, Guan Zin said carefully. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.